Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben, and indeed, hello, everybody. You all right?
Hello, everybody out there. And today we're joined by a very, very special guest. Emma Cownley is a freelance writer for music and lifestyle brands, occasional horror-spondent for Metal Hammer, and, in her own words, full to the brim with charisma, possibly too much. Welcome to the show, Emma. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me after my incredibly braggadocious boasts that I made when we first met. And I said that I was charisma, because now I've really got to live up to it, haven't I?
It's not bragging if it's true.
Fair enough.
It's just fact.
And those braggadocious moments obviously worked because they piqued our interest, and we were like, we got to get Emma Cownley on the show.
And we thought, what are we going to do to get more charisma on board? I know. First name that came up.
That's true.
Emma Cownley. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one original Emma Cownley.
Only one. Accept no invitations.
I've never
seen
anyone.
There are certainly no other accounts under my name.
No, there wouldn't
that
be.
are pretending to be me.
Of course not. No.
Perish the thought. Don't even look it up, everybody. There won't be any.
Yeah, so today we're covering Deathgasm. Emma's got her Deathgasm t-shirt on as well, which looks lovely.
Do. One of two that I own.
One of two. When you said one of two, then it was like two had been printed, and you own one of them. Is that it?
I own both of the ones that there are.
Oh.
You own 100% of the Deathgasm t-shirts available.
100% of the merch. Yeah, I think that they did an official collaboration with Last Shirt on the Left, and I bought this one.
Oh yeah.
And I thought I could be satisfied with one shirt, and then I realized, oh no, I need both, and so
You've got to mix it up. Would you ever wear both shirts like back to back, day by day, or was that
I have at Fright Fest before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Now, people who saw you.
I need people to know what my favorite is.
All right, we get it.
And if they didn't see you on the first day, they could go away thinking, "Oh, I have no idea."
Yeah, no idea what she's into, and then I show up the next day, and I'm like, "Oh."
Oh yeah, we get it. All right. Did you enjoy Fright Fest?
I really did. Yeah, I really did. Obviously, got to meet you guys, which was awesome. Did a bit of networking, as it were. Yeah, it was a really nice, chill time. I feel like I got more sleep this year than I've ever gotten before at Fright Fest, which is quite nice.
During
the films weren't scary enough.
No
nightmares
during some of those films. No, I never did. Yeah, it was cool.
I don't think you could. I think we discussed this already. It is actually impossible to fall asleep, especially in the IMAX screens, because it feels like you're being bludgeoned by sound.
I thought you were going to say because the aircon was quite high and it was quite cold, actually.
Well, yeah, that as well.
Worried that you're never going to wake up again.
I take a little blanket. IMAX is frosty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sure is. I saw people asleep. A few people asleep in Fright Fest there. I did.
Did you?
And I was
impressed.
But
they go out on the lash, don't they? They do the karaoke after the films and stuff, and they go to the Phoenix and hang out with the directors and stuff. I'm too shy to do that. One year I will do it though.
Oh, do it. Come with us next year if we go. We were there at the Phoenix.
Yeah, okay, I'll go if you go.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Okay.
We were there at the Phoenix. We didn't do any karaoke, did we?
We didn't.
No, we couldn't get into karaoke. If we could have, because we got tickets and been organised, then I think you would have been crushing it, Ben.
What would your song of choice have been?
Oh, Jesus. There's a song for every mood, isn't there? So, I mean, it completely depends on what kind of mood I was feeling.
The last night of a film festival mood, what would you have gone for? You've had a good time, you're a bit tired, but you're energized. You want to go out on a high note. You want people to go away from this event thinking, that's Ben Errington up there. Horror Hangout.
I always think Careless Whisper, just because it is banging, and everyone knows it and loves it. Like, I don't want to be.
Yeah, but they'll sing over you, though. Don't you hate that?
I'd like to see him try.
You've got a microphone. And you have to remind people that regardless of your way of life, the choices you've made, that guilty feet, unfortunately for them, have no rhythm.
I've had a bit of bad luck with karaoke, though, because the last time I did karaoke, I did Coolio Gangster's Paradise and Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You, both of which have died since that karaoke thing. So if there's someone I particularly hate, I'm going to just do one of their songs
Ben is Death Note for
Did Donald
for
Trump
singers.
do any songs?
Has
he released any music?
Some sort
Something to
of
think about?
remix. Yeah, I can think about that. I do actually. This is also good because I don't always like to do it on my own. A great duet with somebody. I was going to say somebody of the opposite sex. Doesn't always have to be that. An Evanescence "Bring Me to Life" duet is always a good time.
I could see you two up there doing that.
I tell you what, no, I'd do a duet, but it has to be opposites attract, Paula Abdul, and you be the cat.
Yeah,
And I'll be
I'll be the
an
cat.
animated cat.
Yeah, you're the
I've
cat.
always wanted
and
to
I'm
be the
Paula.
cat.
This sounds good. I think we're setting up for a brilliant Fright Fest next year already.
I can't wait.
Yeah, what would you do, Andy? Have we discussed this? I feel like we discussed it already, but
I mean, being as we're talking about a film that features some hardcore metal antics there, I'd imagine we'd get Luke, the original podcast trio, and we'd do a Busted song. But apart from
hell yeah,
I've piqued your interest to that one.
Oh, I love Busted.
But
do a little bit of
Ben?
Busted.
Busted with Hanson at the O2.
Yeah, that was recent, wasn't it? How was that?
I did that. I did.
Did you?
The whole
How was
thing.
it?
Yeah, I just basically turned feral. I was seconds away from ripping my own face off. Like,
oh no.
Yeah. It was terrible.
Was it a song in particular that turned you feral?
Yeah, it was MBop with both bands together on stage.
Both bands together on stage doing MBop.
Singing MBop together.
When that happens, when two bands get together and do something like that, and you're like, I've never seen this before, it would make me turn feral, I think. I saw Slipknot and Korn do Sabotage.
Do MBop.
And I felt the same. Feral. I think my trousers came off.
Just
do did you say do MBop?
Yeah. That's the classic mashup thing. I've seen.
I actually really think they could tear shit up if they covered MBop.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah. The Corn Man doing the MBop with his voice.
The Corn Man, the little kid,
man,
the little
sorry,
kid,
the Corn Man,
the Corn Man. No, so that's Slipknot. Well,
the Corn Man. What, the little kid from TikTok? Is that what you mean? That little dude. He's the Corn Man. Jonathan Davis. Okay. Well, there we go. I haven't turned feral. Did we get an answer from what you would do, Emma?
Yeah, Paula Abdul.
Yeah, I'm doing opposites attract with you, obviously.
The cartoon cat.
Okay.
Oh, MBop, of course. The duet natural.
That is actually for 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That song.
Next
year. Got a 3-part harmony.
We'll stand in height order. Everyone start growing your hair out now, and we'll go for it.
It's gonna take me a while, Andy. It's gonna take me a while.
We could just get wigs.
Yeah, we'll get wigs then.
That's a much better idea.
Yeah, the Phoenix does a good number in drag acts. I bet they could just lend us one.
Oh, yeah.
Second-hand drag wig, though.
Oh, that's sustainable, though.
I don't care about that. That's not something where I'm getting.
Oh, you'll throw it away afterwards. That's you, Ben.
No, I never would.
You keep it.
Okay, what have we got? Horror.
I was
about to jump into horror news, but first let's talk about your relationship with this film, Emma. Deathgasm.
Oh.
Obviously, Deathgasm 2 has just fully funded. I say just. Was it like last month or something? It fully funded.
No, it was only a week or 2 ago.
Oh, okay, so it's fully funded. So that film is happening. The sequel is happening. This has always been one of those films. I don't know why. For some reason, I've never got around to seeing it. So, did you back the first Kickstarter campaign? Is that where your relationship with it started?
No, I saw it at Fright Fest in 2015. And that was back when I would only go in for a few screenings here and there because I worked nearby in Soho, so I could just walk over. And it just basically fucking blew me away. I was like, this is the best fucking thing I've ever seen. And then I think that they had a feature in Sci-Fi Now magazine after that. And I was like, oh, and I brought it into my friend and I was like, fucking check this film out. It's amazing. Blah, blah, blah. And then, when it came out, I snatched it up. I don't think there was a crowdfunder for this one, though. I think that Jason Lei Howden
I see.
won a competition for funding, horror film funding.
Oh.
And that's how he made it. I don't think that he crowdfunded it, but I'm glad that he crowdfunded the second one because it's about time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And me and Andy watched Trick or Treat last month, and we were kind of talking about sure, it's all right, but like it's got a little something missing. It's got a little bit of attitude missing, maybe a little bit of a sort of comedic edge as well. And I feel like this kind of fills in those blanks in terms of what a heavy metal horror movie kind of possibly should be. Do you like Trick or Treat, Emma?
I do. I really wish that we'd got to know the guy in it. What's the guy that the metal?
The actual singer.
Yeah,
we said that
because he
yeah.
dies instantly.
Yeah, he's like on the news.
So it's
being
like,
dead at the beginning.
this is his last record, and he's died. And I was like, well, why have you got it, Gene Simmons? Like, how did you get hold of this? And there are a couple of bits that really just don't make sense, and it's like they expect you to just be like, oh, of course that speaker just ate someone, and this room's on fire or whatever. But I think it's just like a really nice comfort watch. It really does it for me, I have to say.
I think we said something similar where we were like, it almost feels like the film jumps in 20 minutes too late. It's almost like we want to establish the character and why this character could potentially come back from the dead.
Yeah, it's a bit patchy.
It is a little bit patchy, yeah. And we said it lacked sort of like heavy metal puns as well, whereas I feel like this film.
The great thing about Deathgasm, it's just like absolutely loaded with inside jokes that only metalheads will ever get. And what's nice is that it feels really natural. Like they're not like doing the joke and then waiting for you to kind of laugh. It's just like threaded in. And that's how you know that it's like was made by metalheads for metalheads. And I think that's another reason that I like it. There's like a Burzum joke in there, and it's perfectly timed to just make perfect sense. And like, yeah, it's just
there were a few good jokes. I enjoyed one of my favorite jokes was when, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself and spoil anything, was when a certain character who's dead said, "I'm here with all the dead guys
the
from
Paul
music."
McCartney
Paul McCartney.
yeah. And that's like the second backmasking joke that they put in the film, which is ironic. Well, it's not ironic, it's clever, because it is a film about essentially the world getting saved through kind of backmasking, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was good. And I like the representation of the characters as well. And I mean, like, in terms of death metal getting represented in movies, did you see Lords of Chaos as well? Lords of Chaos?
Yes. I think I was at the premiere, or I was at a premiere for that when it came out.
Yeah. That's a fun time as well, isn't it? Even though it's I guess it is based on a true story, but it's quite loose, isn't it, in its storytelling? Isn't it?
Yeah, and basically everyone in the scene is so tight-knit that they just all were like, no, that's not what happened. Like, obviously they were going to do that because that's the vibe of that whole crew. Me and my husband actually went on holiday to Bergen in Norway, and we did a black metal walking tour where we went to the courthouse where Varg Vikernes was tried. We kind of went round to the one recording studio where all of the bands go, that one place, the church that got burned down by the bands. So we had ourselves a nice, serene,
sounds lovely,
self-guided walking tour.
It's all in walking. You can
it is. It literally is. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Almost ashamed to be self-guided. Then what I would love is someone in full face paint and get up to be there.
Paint with like the big,
to be there with like an umbrella so you could follow them.
Sharp. Yeah, with the axe.
Yeah. So right, putting the axe up so you can follow, so my tour group can follow me around.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was my first time watching this. Your first time watching it as well, Andy?
It was my first time watching it. I loved it. Well, spoilers for the review. Yeah, I'm gonna say that I enjoyed it very much. And like I probably, that like the old meme you get of the iceberg of how deep things go. For me, in like metal music, death metal or otherwise, I'm probably like just below the surface of an iceberg. There is so much that I have never even encountered. So I imagine there's several of the jokes in this that will have just flown straight over my head, but I really enjoyed it. And for the same reason, Emma, I think that you mentioned it comes across as really genuine and really natural. I think it's so, we see it in so many examples, when you have 40-year-olds writing teenagers not well and it flies over, or whenever network television tries to do a video game show and it's like, hey guys, listen to these cool gamer. No, that's not how people actually talk that enjoy these things. The same is true in metal. I think it'd be really obvious if it was written cynically or hadn't been done with the right intentions. And I think it comes across as incredibly genuine. It's incredibly sweet and funny. And the other things that I really appreciated were they clearly also love, I guess the horror movies that come from that part of the world as well. I saw a Bad Taste T-shirt on one of the characters at one point as well.
Yeah.
There's a little lean into, and I know that metal and fantasy have endless crossovers as well. I enjoyed the D&D stuff in there. I think it was really genuinely and sweetly written as well. Like, yeah, I had a lot of time for this, movie. And like Ben, it's one I've been meaning to watch for such a long time. I was aware that it existed. I'd listened to the folks from Nightmare on Film Street do an episode about it years ago, and it went straight on my watch list. But then it's just one of those that always kind of got pipped to this is the next thing I'm going to watch, because you've always got something else that's on the podcast schedule or that's new that's been released. So catching up on a backlog can take a while. And I'm so glad that I finally got around to watching this. I think this is going to go into, and I'm showing my hand of the type of films that I would watch again and again and again now. I think this is going to hit on that rotation for me, along with the likes of bedfellows such as Turbo Kid and Psycho Gorman, which are some of my absolute favorites. So I think this is probably going to have to get myself a hard copy of this. Maybe with the sequel, get a cheeky double pack.
Is the sequel coming out next year? Is that it?
I have no idea. I've got
the late fulfillment was a year. I think it's a while away yet. Now they've got the funding.
The latest piece of news is that Gwar are joining the cast of Deathgasm.
Shut the fuck up, really?
And after I saw the documentary, the Gwar documentary, which I think is on Shudder actually, fairly recently. So that is fun.
I actually saw Gwar quite recently at Download Festival. My husband got to the front and he got blue jizz all over him. He just was covered in blue jizz, like
that was before the bloody show started.
Before the show even started. Blue jizz everywhere. He had to go back and shower. It was in his ears. It was everywhere.
Getting to the front.
Can you imagine that in the accident book? This man, what's wrong with him? Blue jizz in his ears.
Alien jizz, covered head to toe.
Yeah. We've all been there. Okay. So just a brief little bit of horror news to cover before we get into the film. So It's a Wonderful Knife is releasing this week on November the 10th. It is releasing in select theaters, but is also releasing on Shudder as well. And we got an interview that's just gone live with the filmmaker, with Tyler McIntyre. Andy chatted to him fairly recently, talking about the film. I've just seen it, and obviously without spoiling anything, it's a lovely, festive, good time.
A festive treat, right?
A festive treat. And again, as if we need another one, an amazing Justin Long performance. Yeah. As if we need another one. Add it to the watch list for festive horror movies, because you're gonna have a good time. And another thing that's relevant to you, Andy, Godzilla Minute 1 has got a new trailer.
-1.
What did I say?
Minute 1.
I wrote that down. -1.
So
Godzilla,
minute 1.
The first minute of his life is mad.
It's just
been born.
Just either that or just some people like Godzilla attack minute 1. Probably the best minute there is. They're like, what's that in the sea there? It's quite far off. You're all right. You got a while.
All right. It's fine. See you later. Have you seen the new trailer, Andy? Did you watch it?
Not yet. Just come out today, you say?
Well, a couple of days ago, I think.
Oh, I've obviously been a bit lax.
Yeah,
I have to catch up on that because I'm looking forward to Godzilla -1 an awful lot.
It looks like it's getting an IMAX release as well, so it looks like they're going hard on it, like in terms of like big, widespread mainstream release.
If I get a release up here, then I'm gonna try and make it to that, because I really loved Shin Godzilla. So yeah, big into Godzilla -1.
Hell yeah, minute 1.
Minute 1.
No, it's called -1. Sorry.
I'll do 2 separate reviews for you, Ben, just for you when I go and see it. I'll tell you what the first minute's like. Are they going to do the credits front load them like in films of old, or are they going to do it at the end like more modern screenings? We'll find out in my review called Godzilla Minute 1.
When somebody gets the name of a film wrong, do you enjoy? Oh no, I hadn't seen that before. What's that? No, I've never heard of that one. What's that? Is that new? I'm just being a right condescending bastard.
Do when people do a nice thing, like for not sure if it was birthday or an anniversary or Christmas, but Karen's mom got us some tickets to go and see something. My wife took her to see a singer you might not have heard of. Very similar to one of the more popular ones in the top 40 hits this year. A young man by the name of Ed Sheehan. We went to go and see. I was dead good when that mainstream guy came on.
That lovely Irish fellow.
Yeah, Ed
Mr.
Sheehan.
Sheehan.
And that wasn't even that someone made a mistake. That was literally just WhatsApp doing like an autocorrect or something like that. But now that's his name forever.
Ed Sheehan. Oh yeah, sometimes it stays in your vocabulary then, doesn't it? You can't say anything else.
Yeah, you've got to be wrong forever.
Ed Sheehan forever. Yeah, good times. I mean, that's pretty much all I've got for horror news, but Phil on the ground just after Halloween, Did you have a good Halloween, Emma? Did you enjoy yourself?
I didn't really do much, to be honest, which is unusual for me.
Did anybody knock on your door? Did anybody?
No, I live in the middle of nowhere. There's no children. And the annoying thing is that I made a bloody thing that hangs off of my front gate with candies in it because I live on the same road as a school. So I was like, the children will be walking past and they can take a candy. Motherfuckers didn't take anything. And I don't blame them because look at me. Would you take anything
they put more sweets in there, like a tribute?
Like, have a candy.
It's a blessing in disguise, though, because then you've got all of that.
No, I know.
Stuff, right?
Yeah, I ate all of it. I had already taken all the crunchies out because crunchies are too nice for children.
Yeah, they don't even know.
Crunchies are banging.
Yeah, but no one came.
Oh yeah, children again. All the crunchy stuck to the roof of their mouth.
Never so bad for them.
I also think that that honeycomb stuff. It's too sophisticated for a child's palate.
Yeah,
probably.
And that's why they have to get removed.
Yeah, have a fistful of Chewits and fuck off is what you want to say.
Yeah, you can have those swizzle candies.
Oh yeah. Oh, watch out you don't get the Parma Violets. Yuck.
They're all right. What's wrong with them?
It tastes like aftershave.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
I guess there's got to be some.
I accidentally made a cocktail once. It tasted like Parma Violets, and I was so smashed that I couldn't remember.
Put too much hairspray in it.
Couldn't remember what went into it.
Hairspray.
I bet that tasted the same up as it did down, didn't it?
Yeah, probably. Hairspray, did you say?
Yeah, that's
I love
what Parma Violets taste like.
Delicious. Any other horror news for the week?
No, not really. I mean, I guess it's post Halloween now. Your friend of mine, Daniel Wilcox, leading Dream over on the other stories, that concluded in on Halloween itself, right? And then books are going to be available. Tell you what, Ben, I've been a fool. What's the big horror news? We're only at a comic convention next week, where if you happen to be anywhere near Harrogate, come and see us there. Buy some books. Why don't you?
That's true. So we're going to have paperback copies of Dream, which is the Hawk and Cleaver Halloween podcast special. It's like Alice in Wonderland in a what how do we describe it?
In an H.P. Lovecraft universe.
H.P. Lovecraft universe. So we're gonna have books of those to sell. I think we'll be chatting to anyone and everyone who is into horror or horror adjacent stuff. Dead Northern are there. I think we're gonna try and grab them for a chat. But if you're anywhere near Harrogate, come to Fault Bubble, and me and Andy will be there, standing behind a table, looking all right.
Not only me and you, Ben, but everyone's favorite host that's not here today. It's Luke. He'll be around.
Luke Kondo with a K, the evasive host, and we're going to be sharing a packet of Parma Violets between the three of us.
You can have mine. Horrible.
Good, I like it. I like that when that happens. Do you want a Parma Violet? No, you can't. You don't like it.
Yeah, I'll be bringing honeycomb. It's for any people that don't like Parma Violets.
How do you feel about
choose your allegiance?
How do you feel about the big Parma Violets? I feel like they're straying into like bath bomb territory when you're eating them.
Yeah, you've gone too far. That's urinal cake.
Yeah,
type of a thing.
Urinal cake.
Now you talk to me about those fizzers that are like if Parma Violets tasted nice, that are in a similar packet. Then we got a different story.
No, they're shit. They're the crap. They're the non-committal Parma Violet. At least Parma Violet has gone out there unashamedly as itself. I'm 100% Violet. I don't give a shit if you don't like me. The other ones are like, horrible. Oh, what are we? We're just people pleasing. We're just every flavor. Generic people love us.
You've been absolutely thrown under the bus there, Andy.
Been thrown under the bus there, but I'm not going to change my opinion. You've got to stay true to yourself. And eating Parma Violet.
Like a Parma Violet, you've just got to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so next part of the show, what we've been watching. the last 7 days or so, anything horror or horror adjacent worth mentioning, new or old? Has anybody seen anything that they would like to share with the room?
Oh, I saw Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, yes.
So did I.
Oh, look at that.
So, what was your takeaway, Emma? What you coming away from for Five Nights at Freddy's? Are you a player of the game?
I'm not a player of the game, but I watch people play it. I watch live streamers play it. I just like to watch people play it because I'm too scared to actually play it myself. But I've been big into the lore. I love watching YouTube deep dives that are like literally 3 hours long that go into all of the subject matter and all the material. So like when I heard that they were going to be doing a film, finally, I was like, this is going to be incredible. And the Henson workshop involved, Blumhouse. I was like, this is going to be great. And then Matthew Lillard was cast, and I was like, what the fuck? This is going to be awesome. But I feel like there was so much they could have done that they didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, if it's a trade-off between having a decent story and having really good animatronics, then that's fine. It was a great cast as well. I just feel like the games are so good at using the basic principles that it has to scare the shit out of you. Like, it's a perfect case study of how you don't need a lot to really have people constantly on edge. I mean, you can't even in the first game like move out of the seat. You can just turn.
It's static, right?
It's just the fact of like, but is it going to be there? And I just don't feel like they utilized that very well in the film.
Do you
I would
think
have liked to have more of those moments.
Do you think that it maybe suffered because I think, and
was
possibly rightly so, it's made, I would say, as like an entry to horror. It's got some YA, I mean, young adult, not from Newcastle, thing about it. It's got that kind of touch to it that it's like an entry into horror. You probably could be early double figures and go and see this, and it'd be scary, but you would enjoy it, and it would be like a gateway drug to other horror stuff. Maybe for us old folks, it's a little tame. But I liked a lot of what it was doing. I'm not like you. I've not I've played a little Five Nights at Freddy's, but I had like literally a passing knowledge of what the lore was. So that was all new to me. I think it was really well cast. There are elements of it at certain times that gave me big, like, and I say this in a nice way, it's not a criticism, like big Channel Zero energy. Like when that series was on Sci-Fi, like the way they kind of, and I know that Five Nights at Freddy's leans in very much to the creepypasta, like
internet folklore.
That kind of, so yeah, it leans it. So I got a lot of the same feeling I did watching Channel Zero, that first series of that over on Sci-Fi. But yeah, I think it was interesting. And the one thing I think, whether the story hits for you or not, the animatronics are really well done.
So cool. It makes such a difference when there's a physical prop in the room with the actor. And like, I think that, VFX has come like a really long way, but at the same time, you want to see like your eye knows what's real deep down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. You can always see those things.
There is such a vast lore tied in with that kind of story that at the end of the day, they were never going to even scratch the surface with a film.
So therein lies the question. Like, would you have preferred to see this as like a serial, like an 8-part series?
Yeah. Actually, for sure.
Because especially prestige television, I don't think any of the cast they put in it are out of reach of a big TV show.
Yeah, I agree. And then you've got that slow burn build up, because I think that's what the game does really well. It wears you down over the course of the 5 nights. And the coding, I've watched videos about how each of the characters is coded so that you can know what their movements are and how they work. People have actually gone into the game code and figured out the movements of the different animatronics, because they all have different styles, like moves that they do. And that's how you can learn how to play it really well. If you want
to learn how to play it like as a, like really getting into the meta of the game and being able to without trial and error, just go, I know how the mechanics of this
yeah,
work.
basically. Yeah. And yeah, so by the end of the game, by the fifth night, it's just you're being attacked every 30 seconds. There'll be someone at the door. Whereas on the first night, you're kind of just, oh, like, what is anything going to happen? And then one thing does, and you're like, oh my God, oh my God. And then, by the end of it, relentless. And it's just that build up to the crescendo of horror that I think if they'd had a series, can you imagine?
So does it kind of do that, but it's kind of like it rushes through it, I guess.
The pacing was really slow in parts. Like I actually was a bit impatient.
I was like, bloody hell, Peter, stop sleeping all the time. I'm not interested in these dreams.
Yeah,
Give me
fuck.
animatronics. Come on.
I've want killer animatronics.
I've seen lots of stuff online saying, oh, Willy's Wonderland did it better. But I've also seen other things saying, Willy's Wonderland has ruined it for me. The fact that existed.
Yeah,
before.
kind of, actually. I've got that experience where I've already seen Willy's Wonderland and then I've gone into Five Nights at Freddy's and I've been like, I can't. It's like people who, my sister watched Scary Movie before she ever saw Scream, and now she can't watch Scream because of Scary Movie.
Take it seriously.
Oh, God.
I think, Willy's Wonderland, for better or worse, maybe ate their lunch a little bit because they're able to get out a little quicker. You can't,
and you've got that Nick Cage mania. As well.
You can't overact Nick Cage. Like, the more extreme that man goes, the greater his performances are, and he's phenomenal in it. And and Willy's Wonderland, whether you want to knock it for being a really obvious lift of this idea, but before the official license one came out. And they've also been very rude to us. These things are meant to come out back to back. They should come out at the same time, like Deep Impact Armageddon style, like be on the cinema at the same time.
And you choose which side you're on.
Yeah, they did kind of steal the thunder a little bit, but now, especially if it's called Five Nights at Freddy's, a 5-part prestige series, 5 hour, like a 5-hour long episodes.
Shudder would have eaten that shit up.
Oh, yeah, and you could have built it like. You bring it out on like a Halloween week, the 5 nights before Halloween.
Shit. I wish that had happened. I just feel bad because I know how badly Scott Cawthon fought to have and it's been stuck in development hell and it's been passed around for years and years and years. So I'm just grateful that we got something.
Yeah, I'm glad they got to make it. And I think any creator like Scott Cawthon, like, it's so nice when you see someone who created a thing and they didn't make it on the back of a studio, and they didn't make it like by committee. It's something that they made that became incredibly popular, and these things have happened, and that person has still kept a hand in it and still managed to keep some control of it. You love to see it because so often it's the other way around, and then things are nothing like the original thing that people gravitated to in the first place.
I think also the FNAF fan base is so loyal to Scott as well that if they had tried to do anything without him or without his input, it just wouldn't be considered official, I don't think.
Yeah, so for good or ill, I enjoyed it. Like, I think it's out on streaming almost immediately, right? Like, I know it's
I need to watch it at home because there were like kids in the cinema when I was there and they were being rowdy, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh, maybe you want to watch on a little CRT monitor in a dark room.
Yeah, gonna watch it on my phone in the bath.
Yeah.
With somebody bursting in every few minutes just to scare you.
Yeah, in a giant bear outfit.
That's what I meant.
And then yeah.
But also, like, movies of games are notoriously not great anyway. So, there aren't many that really hit the nail on the head.
Apart from Sonic and Mortal Kombat, the original, not the new one. Very good.
Yeah.
And the original Super Mario Brothers with Bob Hoskins.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute tiny-headed Koopas.
Yeah.
What a time. What a time to be alive. Anything else? Anything else anybody has seen this week?
I saw, Ben, you've already seen it, but, extra shout out. Saw The Last Video Store, friend of the show, Video Store Kev.
Yes.
Saw his movie. We weren't able to get to London to see it at Fright Fest Halloween, but ever so much fun. I think I may have seen it the day we recorded, so if I'm repeating myself, it's okay, because I, again, give a little bit of an extra congratulations to Kev. like, yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
for someone who wouldn't classify themselves as an actor, he does great work, and it's a fun movie.
Oh yeah, and it's one of those films that probably would fall into the same sort of vein as Deathgasm and Psycho Gorman and stuff like that. And I think it would be within good company there as well.
Yeah,
Would,
same shelf for
easily
the
stand
video store for
alongside it.
sure.
100%, yeah. I saw a couple of things for the first time. No, this one's for the first time. I saw Hatchet for the first time. Watched this on Halloween. I think Adam Green slasher movie about Victor Crowley with Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, someone else, horror royalty in it. The kills in this are insanely good. Now, I think this film premiered at Fright Fest like back in 2005, possibly. And yeah, when I watched the Fright Fest documentary recently, I was like, how have I never seen Hatchet? I need to watch that. Yeah, the kills are great. I think if you're looking for a sort of mid-2000s slasher movie, it kind of hits, it's got everything. It's got sex, violence, horrible characters that you can't wait to see die. Hatcheted. But honestly, some of the like most horrible kills, like I'm used to it. You've seen my fair share of slasher movies, but I was a bit like, oh geez, that's horrific. Oh no, not like that, please no. It was good fun, and for like 85 minutes or something, definitely check it out.
There's a fair number of Hatchet films, right? There's several.
There's loads, yeah. I think there might be 4 possibly. I recommend it because I think it's as good. It's got like a nice Victor Crowley backstory as well, which is great. And we see Kane Hodder in and out of the makeup as well. So
doing some hatcheting.
Yeah, it's great. Have you seen it before?
A long time ago. I can remember very little. I've definitely seen the first one, but can't remember a thing. It's a long time ago. So I might need to pick that back up.
Definitely. I think they're all on Amazon Prime. I watched the first one on there. So
what a treat.
Get on there. Might mean they're on Shudder, but I'm not sure.
Has anyone seen any of the, like, I feel like I'm behind on this. I've seen the first episode of several of the big streaming series releases this year. I've seen 1 episode of Goosebumps, pretty good. Justin Long, another great performance. Need to watch the rest, but haven't. I've seen the first episode of Fall of the House of Usher. Really like that. Really cool. But haven't watched the rest of it. Have either of you two seen either of those or any of the other series that have dropped on us over Halloween?
I've been tempted by them, but it's not enough to get me to commit. I'm really commitment phobic when it comes to TV series.
I'm exactly the same. I find it very hard.
Like, are you going to waste my time?
Do you know what I mean? Am I going to become
into it?
Yeah.
And then
if I watch one episode and I don't like it, I can't commit any further. I go,
exactly.
Right, that's it.
If you haven't got me by the end of the pilot, no, thank you. Or it's even worse, like The Midnight Club. I thought that was great. I loved it. I couldn't wait to see how that was going to play out. Fucking cancelled.
I know. Yeah. That one was, I was quite enjoying that. Wife wasn't so keen, but I was enjoying it. And then I'd heard it was a cliffhanger and then wasn't going to be continuing when I had 1 episode left. And I've just been like, well, thrown my hands up. I've been like, oh, thanks.
But then they did put it out on Tumblr, the finished story arc.
Oh, did they?
So you
Maybe
could
I will
go
just
and
watch
see
it
how
and
it
then
was all
read the
going to
end.
end. Yeah. I went and read, it was like a thoroughly detailed, because it's that guy, isn't it? It's the Stephen King guy. Mike Flanagan?
Mike Flanagan? The Flan Man himself.
Was it him?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm heartbroken that we can't finish it. I've tried everything I can and it's not going to happen. Here is a full list of all of the plots and all of the characters and what happens.
Get yourself on Tumblr.
Oh, I'll have to do that. That might get me to, I can finish that off and that one can be checked off and I'll read the end. And then obviously at least one member of the cast makes it across to Fall of the House of Usher as well. Ruth Codd is part of the cast of Fall of the House of Usher. She plays like the patriarch of the family's latest wife. It's very good. Nice. The first episode was great.
The last one I saw was Midnight Mass of Flanagan, of the Flan Man, and I really like that. It's probably my favorite of the stuff he's done so far.
I'll watch anything with Rahul Kohli in it, to be fair.
Which one's that?
That guy's great.
Oh, that guy. Oh yeah, that guy. He's always popping up, isn't he? I love his social media presence as well. Seems like a lovely fella.
Big into his Warhammer.
Is he? Him and Superman both together.
Yeah. Exactly. I did watch the first episode of Invincible Series 2. That's the one thing I've been kind of waiting for. And sure, it's not horror, but it's ever so gory for an animated show. So if you like your blood and guts and superhero stuff, check that out. And the other film I watched, which was a rewatch, I've seen this before, was Manhunter, directed by Michael Mann. He didn't name the film Manhunter, like just after himself.
Michael Manhunter.
Michael Manhunter is the first. It's the first movie appearance of Hannibal Lecter, played by Brian Cox, not the guy who does the astrology.
Space is really massive, and I eat people.
Space is really massive, and fava beans. This is.
Whoa! It's like he was in the room.
I purposely didn't do an impression. I just said a thing, but still came out badly. Yeah, so obviously FBI Will Graham. This is like such a stylish film. Like it is amazing. Like obviously it's the story of Red Dragon, essentially. It's not got Ralph Fiennes doing his genuinely scary, creepy stuff. It's got a different guy who's just a bit of a weirdo. But William Peterson plays Will Graham. And this, after trying to watch Hannibal again, I realized that this back to basics, all of these characters back to basics, is better. I feel like what Hannibal does, it tries to make all of these characters almost like big caricatures,
into
like
big, into big old
almost like
metaphors.
superpowered, or like big superpowered metaphors. And I can't stand it. So like going back to basics with this, where you've got a man who's an FBI agent and also maybe a psychopath. You've got a cannibal who's just a horrible, dirty. He's a bit smart, sure, fine, cat and mouse thriller. But yeah, I think if you're a fan of any sort of Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter,
then it's got to be
what's his name?
Manhunter.
Thomas Harris. Yeah, I think it's got to be. I think Silence of the Lambs is of course the best adaptation of Thomas Harris's books, but this is easily better than all the other sequels. It's better than like
I
Hannibal.
think I've seen Manhunter. Might have to check that out.
Oh man, the score is unbelievable. It reminds me of, and despite and obviously Michael Mann did direct the Miami Vice reboot as well. It reminds me of Miami Vice, this Manhunter. It's just like, imagine all of the characters that you know and love in the world of Miami Vice. Everything's like all this blue
Lovely
wash.
pastels and neons.
Exactly, yeah. And everyone's got nice clothes on. Yeah, it's great.
Just like in Miami. Maybe, Ben, though, you could go the other way. You might enjoy the Hannibal series a bit more if you applied not the back to basics, but the big overblown metaphors into your regular life. Like when you step into the kitchen and you see there's dishes in the sink, you could like close your eyes and go to a mind palace.
Go backwards, yeah.
Yeah, and be like, this
or
is
you
my
could
design.
cut off your own leg and eat it.
Yeah, and you do that and be like, and then in doing that, the dishes will be clean and it'll be a statement. And then you'll imagine your partner Charlie be there with like antlers, and you'll be like, oh, is she Hannibal Lecter the whole time? Maybe if you started thinking like that.
This film didn't have one dream sequence. I loved it.
That should be your letterbox review.
Forget dream sequences.
Not a single dream sequence, 5 stars.
Will Graham does a little bit of his sort of thing where he's like standing in a room and imagining things happening, but rather than it all coming to life, he's kind of like talking us through it. So it's good though. I like it. It's got a great soundtrack as well. It's very synthy. But that was it. That was pretty much all I've watched this week. Film of the week then, which is Deathgasm, a 2015 New Zealand comedy horror film written and directed by Jason Lei Howden in his feature directorial debut. The film follows a teenage heavy metal band who acquire an ancient piece of sheet music and unwittingly summon an evil entity known as the Blind One. Chaos ensues. It's got 6.3 on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, 88% critic score, 66% audience score, 3.2 on Letterboxd, and some choice reviews from Letterboxd. Austin Armstrong says, the most metal movie of all time. Possessed teachers spewing blood over students. Check. Bloody chainsaw battles. Check. A hilarious metal horror mashup that I can't wait to watch again. 4.5 stars. Ali Bug says, you're not allowed to call yourself metal unless you've killed demons with giant sex toys.
I've done that.
4.5 stars. You have.
Yeah.
These are some enormous sex toys as well. Eye-wateringly enormous.
You could have bought them, in the Kickstarter. They were auctioning off some of those sex toys.
Oh my god!
Auctioning them off. Film.
Wow. Crazy. You didn't get it for Deathgasm 2 then, Andy, as a perk.
No. I mean, there's still time for add-ons, I'm sure. When you fill in the back kit.
A nice girthy double ender. Disgusticated says heavy metal, guitars, blood and gore, puerile humor, 4 stars. That's not that puerile.
No.
And then Danny says, if Jennifer's body had an evil twin brother, it would be this movie. 3.5 stars. Well, yeah, kind of.
Oh, that's a really nice take on it. I've never even thought of that before.
Yeah, it's got some of that going on, isn't it? So yeah, we've obviously already covered our relationship with this movie, whether this is the first time we've seen it. So in terms of who stars in it, we've got Milo Cawthorn as Brody, James Blake as Zach, Kimberly Crossman as Medina, Sam Berkeley as Dion, and obviously loads and loads of other people in various roles, demons, bullies, record store owners, and the like. So yeah, I mean, it looks like its critic score 88%. Like people were pretty high on it. That's higher than the audience score. I kind of thought sometimes films like this might tend to be like the other way around. But yeah, people are loving it, and it is a good time. It is a cool movie, and something that I feel like has been attempted before in not necessarily horror, but in kind of other genres as well, like a sort of a heavy metal comedy and stuff. Doesn't always hit the mark, but I feel like this one definitely did. Again, it doesn't feel like it feels like it's coming from a place of love for the genre, love for sort of its fans as well. It's not got like an elitist snobbery to it, which again, sometimes things like this can do. It pokes fun at the fact that fans of certain metal might have a bit of elitist snobbery, which is also good, especially when someone starts rattling off all of the subgenres of metal. Does anyone have a favorite subgenre of metal?
I wrote an article on the most bizarre, I think it was like the top 10 most bizarre subgenres of metal. And some of the ones in that was, there was Neddle, the Ned Flanders.
Oh, yeah.
Oakley Dokley, Neddle.
Yeah.
There was fast food metal from Mac Sabbath.
I've seen Mac Sabbath.
Dinosaur metal. There's werewolf metal. There's pirate metal. Then you've got that porno grind.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, that's just off the top of my head.
The one that needs to do some more research. Dinosaur metal first on.
Yeah, there's a band in like a Scandinavian band where they dress up as dinosaurs and they come out and they're all dressed as dinosaurs.
Amazing. I saw Mac Sabbath probably like 10 years ago now. So yeah, just the band dressed as characters from McDonald's doing Black Sabbath songs.
Did you see that video of them performing for Ozzy Osbourne?
No.
He was charmed and delighted.
Oh, and he was dying for a filet-o-fish.
Yeah, he was dressed as the Hamburglar at the time.
I was thinking my favorite's probably, I don't know if this is a subgenre, but I always liked Necrogoblicon with like the.
Oh yeah. Have you had that spider track? I love that one. There's a magic spider on the wind. He spins a web for you.
Is that a newer one? Because I don't think I've heard any new release. Oh, it's not. No. I guess you could call it goblin metal, but they've just got a goblin on stage at all times. At all times.
Yeah, John Goblicon, the accountant. John Goblicon. He's an accountant. You can book him on Cameo. I've been trying to get him for my husband for ages, but he's on tour. So
I'm actually quite scared of him. I find him quite scary.
Really?
Yeah. Terrifying.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want him to be in the room with me right now.
No. Is he in the room with you right now?
Doing your accounts?
Is he doing your accounts?
Just doing my accounts quietly.
Excuse me, this isn't deductible. I'm afraid you are going to have to pay the VAT on this. No!
This isn't metal, but what's that band which is like Elvis fronted Nirvana?
Oh, I don't know.
Elvana. I mean,
to say, surely it's a portmanteau of the name.
Elvana.
Oh, there's wizard metal as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
With wizards.
I feel like whatever you say is going to be out there. When
there's a type of metal for it.
When people say there's a type of pornography, no matter what you're into, there's a type of pornography out there that's going to fulfill those needs. I feel like metal's the same.
Metal's the same. Doesn't matter what you're into.
It's
I
going to
like
be
how
on
a
that
lot
doors
of
and
it.
wheels debate.
There's a lot
is
of
there more
Lord
porn
of
or
the
metal?
Rings centric stuff as well. Like, because
Yeah.
metal fans love Lord of the Rings. So there's loads of Lord of the Rings named bands. Tons of bands have taken their name from Lord of the Rings.
Loads of, the Wet Hand of Saruman,
I once tried to do a list of names that hadn't been taken, and I actually had my Tolkien guide to Tolkien, and I was going through every single thing that I typed in had been taken.
as a metal band.
Yeah, it was wild because I was watching the films and they were like, oh, it's a Nargle Blade, and I was like, Nargle Blade, that would be sick. There's already a band. White Hand of Saruman, there's already a band. Like everything. They've even started going into the dark language, like the Burzum mentioned in this film. Burzum means darkness in the black speech of Mordor.
They thought of everything.
Whereas people were turning these into fabulous band names at the time of seeing Lord of the Rings, we were like horrible late teenage boys. So we had a great time doing the 2 tricks you can play on your friends based on those films. If you are boys that are mean to each other and also nerdy enough to be really into Lord of the Rings, you play 2 games. You can have the Wet Hand of Saruman, which is after you've been to the toilet, you don't dry your hands after you've washed them and just wipe it on your friend's face. The Wet Hand of Saruman, or the Hot Hand of Sauron, which is when you you make a very kind offer, Ben. You offer to make the tea, and then you leave the teaspoon in there until it's real hot, and then you burn your friend with it when you come back into the room. The Hot Hand of Sauron himself.
Yeah. These are really niche tricks, though, aren't they? Were they just exclusive to you? There's
exclusive to me and my friends.
This wasn't widespread or anything.
Now we've got a platform. Try it amongst yourselves, friends. Have a Lord of the Rings trilogy weekend
Wet Hand
all together,
of Saruman,
and give people the Wet Hand of Saruman and the Hot Hand of Sauron.
The Hot Hand of Sauron.
Sauron didn't have any hands by the end, though, did he?
Yeah, he'd certainly lost a finger before the series even began. But I guess he could grow it back. If he got that ring back, he could do all sorts of things. Spoilers for Lord of the Rings, he doesn't.
Why don't you call it the hot eye?
Because you don't burn them with your eye. You have to use a spoon in your hand.
Yeah, because the spoon would be the eye.
That is horrible. When someone puts a hot spoon on you, it's horrific.
It's shocking.
I've screamed.
It's shockingly unexpected, isn't it?
It's horrible. Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
Someone's done it on my neck before. Yeah, didn't enjoy that. Yeah,
the hot hand of
Saruman.
Got you.
That was in response to one of my favorite pranks of all time, which I probably told you before, Andy. But I'm going to say it again. I'm afraid. I once made a perfect Starburst sweet out of
dog shit.
Baby Bell wax. It was perfect. It was the perfect size and shape. I even did all the ridges with a little ballpoint pen. I wrapped it up perfectly, put it back in the wrapper, and offered it to somebody. Would you like a Starburst? There's a red one on top. And they went, oh, yeah. Opened it. It was Baby Bell wax that just turned to mush in their mouth.
Got him.
That's so long of a process.
Yeah. It was worth it.
Impressive commitment.
As far as I remember, it was only 2 Baby Bell waxes were needed. So it wasn't like I was there saving it up for weeks on end.
Sure.
To be fair, it went nice that you did a genuine prank. My head first went to, the best prank ever I've done. Registered them as a sex offender? I don't know.
You try to get me sectioned. If you section me, I'll section you so hard.
What a time.
That's the best one to do. Okay.
But yeah, I can't offer, but on veering wildly back towards the topic, I can't offer a favorite band of metal. I feel I'm completely outclassed by the 2 areas of expertise that you both bring to this. So,
but I feel like whatever you say, you could say any word and add
literally you could say anything. They even make fun of that in the film, though, don't they? When they're at the crates. And they're kind of riffing off of like, what bands do you like? And you get like a flavor of that kind of metal elitism that happens when you're kind of like eyeballing people going through, like, it's that classic thing of like judging people based on like what they've picked up.
What are you looking at? Gross.
Yeah. Poison. Get out of here.
Oh, I do like
Poison.
Bot.
Hey, They love poison.
They made
yeah,
fun of it in the film, though, didn't
I
they?
know.
I know, but exactly. I'm fuming about that. But yeah, they do. There is a bit of that poking fun at the elitism as well, and also the representation of metal fans. And it kind of is a bit more realistic in this. We've obviously already discussed the fact that like metal fans and metal kids are always like bullies in 80s movies, which was kind of odd.
Never the middle, either bullies or bullied.
Yeah, never the middle, but mostly bullies, which is like, that's right, I listen to metal and I'm going to bully everyone.
That's Balkan
mean.
Skull, isn't it? They've brought that stereotype upon the rest of the world.
Balkan Skull, they love metal and they've got a never-ending, they got a TARDIS of a backpack that they can bring a whole baguette out of.
Poor Balkan Skull. I mean, to be honest, commitment to being bullies. I think I've mentioned this before. They managed to bully a larger group of really athletic high achievers.
Really athletic kung fu experts.
Yeah. Even the nerdy one is only nerdy is quite an athletic, tall, handsome man. He just has glasses that make him the nerd.
Some sort of nerd because he got glasses on. Jesus. Okay, so this film, I guess we should get into the plot of this movie. So we get a little bit of a backstory for Brody, the main character. He his dad died, and then pretty much immediately his mother got institutionalized. Didn't she go on didn't they say she went on a meth binge, crystal meth
off a Santa
and tried to suck off a Santa Claus.
Oh,
in a shopping mall.
Deathgasm is a Christmas film then, if that's the case.
Yeah, confirmed.
Yeah.
It's got Santa in it, so
yeah, Santa is mentioned, and in her mugshot she's holding a Santa hat. So it
must have gone marginally well then, unless she just stole it. Yeah, possibly.
And then completely naked in a mugshot as well.
Oh,
was
and
she?
Essentially,
which is covered up by like the number or what have you, but like she's standing there naked, like giving him the finger.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Fuck off. And essentially, this is the story of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air gets sent to live with his auntie and uncle in Grey Point,
which is New Zealand's Bel-Air.
Which is New Zealand's Bel-Air, and it's with his uncle Albert, not Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses. Just a different Albert, just the same name. Incredibly religious couple of people for him to go and live with. And, you know, we knew that they were going to be all repressed sexually, when in truth, they've got some scary stuff in their bedroom. And of course that happened. So yeah, essentially Brody turns up with his amp and his guitar and his posters and all of his metal paraphernalia. And obviously there's a bit of a clash instantly with Uncle Albert, his strict Christian beliefs, and also the cousin whose name is David.
He's like the most basic normal person ever, right?
Yeah, he just looks like a guy.
Yeah, there were at least 4 of these people who just look like a guy in this film, because I couldn't even remember
David.
who David was supposed to be. Just man. He is like when you start making a custom character on a computer game and it's the default setting.
Yeah.
Default David.
Default David. Bit like your favorite character from 28 Weeks Later, Ben. Remember him, Man?
Oh yeah, Man. He was great. I'll tell you what, justice for Man. He was awesome.
He's with them for most of the film.
He is. No, never give him a name or a reason. And when he died, free.
For whom the bell tolled.
The bell tolled 3 times for Man. Sorry. So yeah, no,
that's David for you though. I love like David's arc in this film. We'll get to it.
Yeah. And then Brody, he immediately makes friends with Dion and Giles. Dion is like the D&D kid who's getting like a dice or a die, as he says, being jammed up his nose. And Giles is the other one. Can you describe it? Dion there has got the look of a guy, like a sort of, I guess, a bit of a slim, weedy guy with glasses. And there is a meme which says, if you're watching a hardcore band and their lead guitarist looks like this, you're gonna die.
It's true though, isn't it? And usually they're wearing those like long shorts and they have those like skater socks that's pulled really high up and they've got that little cap on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're like matching with these characters that you meet, naturally leaning into, you could draw in a picture of draw the keyboard player, draw the drummer. It's these two guys, right?
I love that they got a keyboard player there. Distinctly underrated when a band. You need to get a keyboard in there. It's good times. Add someone extra.
I agree. A keytar, maybe I could get behind.
Oh, a
keytar's like the next level.
Especially an 80s hair metal band, I imagine.
Mm.
In School of Rock, the best member of the band was that guy on the keyboard.
I can't even remember.
The glasses guy.
Glasses
Naturally.
guy. Glasses guy. You had to be glasses guy. It's always glasses guy.
You need glasses. You need good eyes to seal them keys, I guess.
It's true. It's true. There's loads, and he's the one who's always saying he's not cool enough. And then that's when Jack Black says, "Shut up,
Mr. Keys."
Give us the keys. Get in the band." Yeah. So he makes friends with them immediately, but it's almost like he's making friends with them initially, just like out of default, really, isn't he?
He's nice to them after they're getting bullied, and then they say, "Hey, do you want to go and do something really cool?" And they're sitting there, and they get like a lovely bit of D&D, and so oh, that's bullshit. And it's like, well, I'm the DM, I get to choose what happens. Now your dead body is being fucked by goblins, and then horror upon horrors, they get buddy soaked in piss, don't they?
Super Soakers full of piss. Now that's a prank that commits all the way. It's not Baby Bells wrapped up. It's on the way.
That's how you give him the wet hand of Saruman. Just upgrade it to piss if you're really horrible.
Full of piss.
How do you react
in a public place as well, all the way?
It's not on, is it? I'm fuming about that. Like when you're at a festival and
you get piss on you,
and you get piss on you, the inevitable.
I've had it, and it's still been warm.
Yeah.
Or someone's pissed into a bottle and they've chucked it in
I'm
the crowd.
I'm grateful for that.
I've seen those bottles flying from near the back of a crowd. It was download maybe like 2007. I think it was the year that Metallica headlined anyway. And I saw like someone over at the back of the crowd. We were just taking it easy. We had a heavy day, second day in, sitting on the hill at the back, getting ready to listen to Metallica's set. And I just saw someone finishing, they're just dabbing the end off, finishing their piss bottle, and then literally left the lid off as well. So it could go across like a comet it was. And he just wazzed it. I mean, incredible arm on the guy. But sailing over a crowd of 10,000 people just streaming piss.
But at least he wasn't dehydrated, because then the piss smells worse.
Yeah. Oh, this guy had been hydrating. It was
he'd been on the beers all day, right? So nice hydrated urine. If you're gonna get done,
So if you're an original prankster, you want to do something, you want to go easy on the waters, get your diuretics in you for the day before you want to fill up your super soaker with this.
Really dehydrate yourself. Make it worth it.
Like treacle.
You want it to look like Lucozade when it comes out.
Poorly flavoured Lucozade,
but not fizzy, obviously, because that would be indicative of a bigger problem, I think.
Yeah. Well, you could fizz it up if you wanted. If you own a Soda Stream,
whack it in the Soda Stream.
Put a Barocca in there.
Exactly. No one would know any difference.
You could loosely screw the cap on, throw it so it hits the floor, and when it takes off like a rocket.
Oh, kaboom!
I've elevated this. Download next year. Us three, a bottle of piss. Some Barocca.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Download next year.
Right.
We've got so many plans for next year.
we're pivoting away from horror movies now. Call us the Piss Professors. See you at Download. The original Piss Pranksters.
The original Piss Pranksters.
Your number one podcast source for all piss-related pranks.
So they've obviously peed into the super soakers, sprayed these guys. I mean, it's out of order, really, isn't it? But it happens.
The basic David is a fool. Like, even if he's like this cousin who you're immediately making enemies with lives at your house. If I was him, I'd be going straight back to my house, soaked in piss. I would have rolled in his bed.
Also, if you suspect someone of worshipping Satan, are you really going to piss on them?
That's true.
It's like the same things when they I think the bullies are like, oh, and your mom's a psycho, and they're like,
yeah, but we're related, so it's all in the bloodline, mate.
I want to kill you. I mean? Yeah, this is your family.
So what? So you think I worship Satan, and you know that I'm related to crazy? So why are you?
Yeah.
Don't poke the bear. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
That's literally what happens, though, isn't it? Because then he gets so he feels so powerless that he then non-consensually with the rest of his band. It was a non-consensual demonic summoning, wasn't it? Because only
Don't
he
let
was
stand
aware
up
that
in
that's
court,
what was
would it?
happening.
Mm.
Non-consensual.
Take
Because
that to
nobody
Devil's
else.
Court.
Yeah, they could say I was basically,
Hoodwinked.
you know,
Hoodwinked.
yeah, that's a nice way to say
My
what
old
I was going to
huckster
say.
has come along here and tricked me into this. Not with
I
the
was
paper it's
tricked
printed
into
on.
a demonic summoning without
God
my
damn it.
knowledge or consent.
I reckon you should be allowed to take that back, return it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Brody gets his eyes on Medina at one point as well. He sees her and he goes, "Oh, bloody hell, I won't mind myself getting involved with that." And then Dion or Giles says, "No chance, mate. People like you, metalheads, got no
I
chance."
get with Medina. She hangs out with the most basic boy in town.
Yeah,
David.
it's not hard to top basic David, is it?
She's gone out of basic David, and his idea of foreplay is talking about who he's going to bully.
I really
and
like
she's
this,
like, it doesn't turn me on when you talk about bullying. And I was like, that's my bitch right here.
Yes, Medina. Yeah, because actually you talked about how genuine this film is. You know what? Like, it's so often it's like a bugbear of mine when we watch typical American high school things where the bullies are. It's one of two things: either they would be immediately told to fuck off and be headbutted in the face in a UK public school, or people wouldn't like them because you're such a psychotic bully that no one would want anything to do with you. You would be the kid with your classroom assistant sat next to you the whole time.
Yeah,
and
like Stephen King bullies who are like one step away from just murdering people.
yeah, and of course Stephen King had adaptations of the 80s as well. They're all 35, and it's
that's why they're so mad. They've been held back 20 years. So yeah, Brody goes to there's like a record store, and this is where he meets Zach. Zach spelt with 2 K's, and I knew a guy who spelt his name Zach with 2 K's, and it was always Zach with 1 K throughout school. And as we became teenagers, we started spelling it with 2 K's. And even in my head, even in my like 17-year-old head, I was like, one day he's going to go back to just 1 K, and he has. So you know,
oh, he has.
He has. He's gone back to 1 K.
Now he's a CH and he's an accountant.
He's a Zachary. So yeah,
he's not
Zach.
living his best authentic Palmer Violet's life, is he?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Get some Palmer Violets down your neck. So yeah, Zach is one of the more sort of like metal elitist type of guys. But they get him in to form a band because he plays bass. Dion on the keyboards, Giles on the drums, Brody playing guitar, and Zach on bass. And they'd have a little back and forth about what they're going to call themselves. What have we got? Maggot sperm is one.
Yeah.
We've got 13 S's.
I really like that name.
I did, like because there's some really fucking dumb band names out there, and I actually
pigs.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I'm thinking of when I think of yeah.
Oh, there's a whole hilarious world that I feel I've been missing out on because I loved. And how many pigs?
Great.
In that title.
Pigs times 7, I think, isn't it?
I've got no idea. Or like even you could say crosses, which is just crosses and not a name that says crosses.
And I'm sure have you ever written an article about them and you're like, how the hell do I write this down?
I have actually, yeah. I did a roundup for 2022 of my best albums of the year, according to me. And technically it was an EP. But you have to write, you have to do the symbol and then you have to write crosses in brackets. That's the correct way to do it. There's no style guide for this. There's no brand guidelines or anything. So
for God's sake, Chino.
Just think of like you and Prince having a little think about what you want to do. It reminds you of the Super Hands album with we're calling ourselves various artists to fuck off people with iPods.
To fuck with the iPods crowd. Brilliant. Danny Dyer's chocolate homunculus. Yeah, there's loads of ridiculous ones, and then they settle on Deathgasm, which I'm surprised isn't taken in any way. Is it taken? I don't know.
What,
Any...
like real life bands?
Yeah,
Probably.
it's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah,
Real
probably.
life
Someone
bands are still
somewhere.
working their way through Return of the King. They hadn't quite ended that yet, so they got in just in time.
Yeah.
They just got to the Grey Havens. They were like, no, they've got in with Deathgasm while we're still focused on these books.
Yeah, and they play some songs. I mean, they are kind of shit, aren't they? But you know, they get better. They know it as well, don't they? They do make a little music video in the woods, which you got to do. This was like
that was fun. Yeah, that was a fun little
that
bit of
was
making
fun.
a music video.
Don't you love the way that Dion and Giles get it just a bit wrong? They go like dad metal, and we get some kind of Angus type of AC/DC vibe, and we get like a Kiss Catman type of vibe.
Oh yeah, of course.
They're the only two that have just been like, oh, metal, okay, AC/DC and Kiss. Like,
there's always one though in a band, isn't there? I feel like a lot of people are on the same level, and then there's always one that turns up. I'm getting like Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit vibes, where he just turns up.
They just go all the way.
What are we
wearing white t-shirts and baseball caps.
I'm going to dress in head to toe black vinyl.
Oh my god!
I love that. I wish there's a story about that. We've turned up to film the rolling video. Oh, my clothes are dirty. What have I got left in the wardrobe? I really need to put a wash on. One of my friends did come round to my house one day in a suit purely for that reason. Say, oh, the clothes are dirty.
So cute.
What's next? What is the next bit?
I guess that it's time for the ice cream date, right? So they've been rehearsing, they've been filming the videos, and then
wait, do they? I think before that happened, before the ice cream date, I think they do.
They break into Ricky Dagger's house.
That's right, Ricky Daggers. So Zach convinces Brody to explore an abandoned house in search of a legendary metal musician named Ricky Daggers. And yeah, they stumble upon Ricky Daggers. He's just trying to have a kip, you know, just let him sleep.
Ricky Daggers has got this real like Iggy Pop / kind of Alice Cooper type vibe.
Yeah. All he's trying to do is sleep in a hovel on a mattress.
Hugging his record to his chest. Yeah.
Leave my record. How did they find out Ricky Daggers? So they've got like some sort of
it's been outed.
It was on a website.
It was on a website, was it? It was on a 4chan. It was on a 4chan board.
Yeah, he was outed.
Yeah, so they basically pick up the record, and then Ricky Daggers wakes up, ready to take it to them, baseball bat style. But then what does he do? Just tell him to take it? He's here you are. Then
yeah, because
they're on to them, right? So someone's coming.
Occultists break in, and he's like, "Oh my god, they know where I am," and he's like, "Take it, run." And then they play it, and it's they've been rickrolled.
Yeah,
fantastic. Happens to the best of us.
Some fucking Rick Astley record.
Yeah,
these are some of the really funny bits of this film. Like it's so.
Oh yeah,
but especially the thing is, they don't even make a big deal about it. It's just a throwaway joke.
Yeah, that's it. You never like. That's what I really like about this film. It never slows down. Like you said, Emma, they don't like stop and wait for you to get the joke. They throw something like that out, and then they're rolling straight on with the thing. And I think it makes for a more efficient film. It makes it really enjoyable.
Do you know what I think that is, though? I think it's twofold why it feels so natural. Number one, because Jason Lei Howden actually is a metalhead, actually from the metal scene, and actually wrote this himself, like drunk in one weekend. So like he is in complete control. And there's like a self-assuredness and a relaxedness to the script that I think you can tell that it's just like a natural, almost like semi-autobiographical thing. And the other thing is it's fucking New Zealand, isn't it? So they're quite similar to us in their humor, I think, where it is just definitely kind of casual. Whereas if it had been American, there would almost be that kind of look at the camera moment where they're like, "Oh, we've done a funny." I find really laugh.
Yeah, I find that similarly with like films from New Zealand, Australia. I found it the same with Talk to Me earlier this year. Just that kind of even that like in saying this, sorry American listeners, I'm not saying that films from your country are not very funny. They are. There's some great comedy that comes out of the US,
isn't it? It's just different humor.
Yeah, for us I think things from Australia and New Zealand, it does feel different enough. They have some differences, but it does feel a lot more similar to just what is comfortable and natural to our, just the way that we are
It's
amongst
like
our friends and the way we
deadpan,
speak.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a deadpan, dry, understated kind of type of a humor.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's good. And obviously, Vardin, the leader of the cult, is definitely got some good moments as well. He's a funny guy.
Yeah. That decapitation moment stands out in my mind.
It's so good. Yes,
I was a bit like, it's your own fault, if anything.
A cultist comes and finding the record gone, they kill the musician that's been outed. What's his name again? Something
Ricky Daggers.
Ricky Daggers. So Ricky Daggers gets
two
killed.
Ks.
Double 2Ks. So yeah, Ricky Daggers gets killed, and then when he goes back, the sort of cultist reveals to the leader that he's failed in his mission. And I just love these like masked sort of demon headed like zealots that come out and just chop his head off. He's like, that's a custom made carpet, you idiots, do it again. And they're like having to pick this guy up and like hold his head back on while they pretend to chop it off again after they put a tarp down. It's like, perfect.
I really enjoy the awkward flourish as well, as he lets the head drop and then kind of is like, ta-da.
It's so good.
Because it looks naff and you think he's going to react badly, but he's like, that's actually great. I like it. Well done. So it's the cult are seeking the Black Hymn, an ancient piece of sheet music capable of summoning demons. And that is basically what is inside the album, isn't it? Is it just like in the album sleeve or something? Just like the actual sheet music? Yeah. The actual sheet music's there, and that is when Zach basically suggests that Deathgasm play it, which they do. And things kick off. Obviously, Uncle Albert is not happy about it. He's like, stop it. Stop playing that devil worshiping music. I bloody love Jesus.
But then he gets horrible bloody eyes, feels right poorly for a second when they start playing the song. And the band start to sort of zone out a little bit. But Brody kind of, he fucks it up, right? So it doesn't complete playing because he's a bit rusty playing the guitar.
Yeah. And I think Zach does accuse him. I thought you were supposed to be good, mate. He does kind of like put him in on the spot in the first practice and goes, shred then, shred. Oh, God. Please.
I also think like he's got a chain as his bass guitar strap, and I just think, wouldn't that hurt so badly?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
That'd be your shoulder.
Yeah.
That would
That's how bad.
You want some padding on there. I know you're hardcore and everything, but
doesn't need it.
Maybe keep it for performing only and have a lovely soft one for rehearsal.
Practice.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? It's weird though. It's because as a character, Zach, I don't know where we're supposed to stand with him, because you could have written him completely different and he'd been a total complete douchebag because of obviously what he does in terms of Medina. But I don't know. It almost feels like he gets a bit of a redemption as well.
Yeah, he's your classic redemption arc character, isn't he? Like he has to die because he's not a good person, but in dying, redeems himself.
Okay, I've got to die in order to redeem myself.
It's kind of nice though to have like a flawed character, because from the very beginning, he's not. We have antagonist characters. We have basic bitch David, and we have, the family that don't really care for Brody. They are friends. He gives him shit, and he's a bit of a metal elitist. And then as the story progresses, he does kind of break his oath of friendship that he makes and sells his friend out for a little bit. The Brotherhood of Steel.
But it's almost like a possessive friendship though, isn't it? Because he's taking notes that people are passing and he's kind of like really possessive of Brody.
Yeah, like he is, like he's a friend that definitely takes more than he maybe puts into it. But I don't think, like, Zach is, I think, a good complicated character who probably doesn't think of himself as a bad friend. Or he's a
because his justification for hooking up with Medina is like, I didn't even like her.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
it's like, well, I didn't even like her.
I did.
You say something like "I was bored" or something like that as well.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
not even
bored.
into her. Yeah, it's like, wow, that's so much worse.
So yeah, let's get to the relationship. I don't want to miss the subject of Emma's background here. So I think it's after they've shot the video, and I think maybe they've had their first attempt at playing the song, but things haven't kicked off just yet. Medina, having seen Brody's drawings of the teacher being violated by demon penises at school, she's been a little entertained by him, and she's picked up his drawing, and she meets him outside the shop and asks if they want to go for an ice cream. Get a lovely, cute little scene of them sitting on the bench together. Very good, awkward teen dialogue, right?
She is so persistent, bless her. Like, she's got so much patience because he's like a really tough nut to crack.
This is such an iconic like image that I'd seen it loads before and just thought it was for an advert or something. I never ever thought it was like from a film.
People do this as Halloween. They actually dress up as the two.
That's cool.
That's a good outfit choice.
Another upside down cross on the forehead. We recently saw that in The Exorcist Believer when it just inexplicably appeared on the head of one of the possessed girls, and they're like, "What's evil?"
Different time that round though. Whereas those little girls in Exorcist Believer, ever so rude when you've got a cross on your head upside down.
Yeah, Brody.
Brody, still ever so polite
sweet.
when he's got it on. So sweet.
Wholesome boy. This scene's also really good because it allows him to explain the appeal of metal to people that might not be interested. And I think that's part of what you were saying about the film being accessible to people who aren't necessarily in the scene. They can laugh at it from the outside, but they can also be included because he's kind of explaining from an insider's perspective why so many people gravitate towards the music. And I think that was quite sweet. I liked that.
And I love the scenes they both get. Earlier on, we've seen Brody when he's listening to his music, imagining standing on a mountaintop, heavy metal style, with like two scantily clad women at either side of his arms, and he's like lasers one of their bras off with his eye lasers. And just standing.
This is my fantasy.
Playing a
Get
thing.
rid of the bras.
And then later on, when he, as part of this conversation, lends Medina some metal music, and then when we see her in a scene or so's time listening to it, and she imagines herself on a mountaintop, like spinning an axe around.
It's like Manowar, a Manowar album cover, isn't it? What you've got going on in the background, which is great. If that was a genre of metal, subgenre, battle metal, is that right? Something like that.
Probably.
So much Googling to do when we're finished.
Battle reenactment metal.
Oh yeah, LARP
That'd
metal.
Be good.
LARP metal.
LARPing, yeah.
Oh, have you invented a new genre?
It definitely exists. It already exists.
Shall I Google it? Because I bet it does
please
exist.
Do.
Google it.
While you're Googling that, I mean, we've mentioned it by name a couple of times now. Have either of you seen the film of that name, Heavy Metal, based on the magazine of the same name?
Yeah, what, the animated one? No,
yeah.
No, I haven't. Or I've definitely seen parts of it, but I've never seen it. But you watched it not so long ago, right?
No, I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to watch it for ages. Maybe now's the time.
I think it came up in a conversation on the podcast, and we were like, we should probably watch that. Because there's Heavy Metal 2000 as well, isn't there?
Is there another one? Right, better get over it. Better get onto it. So, Emma, can you confirm, is LARP metal a thing?
Look, okay, I don't know what I found. Wizard Core and LARP rock.
I don't know what I
don't
found.
know. I think it's like one band. I don't know. I don't want to delve too deeply into it because we all know what happens. The Balrog of subgenres will emerge if I delve too deeply.
The Balrog.
Loads of things to Google later. Okay, so
at this point as well, Medina's sorry, Andy. I was saying Medina's like almost wants to lean in for a kiss with Brody as well, but again,
there's a moment. There's one of those moments with the looking down at the mouth, and then he's like,
too shy, such a shy.
He's a bit shy,
boy.
or maybe he's a bit
shy boy.
He's quite shy, and I think he's quite intimidated because she's quite forward in these bits. So I was thinking of getting a tattoo. Maybe just here and she kind of pulls her top down a bit.
Oh yeah.
Or then maybe just here on the upper thigh. She does.
It's so cute because he won't look.
Yeah, he's such a polite boy, not like those Exorcist kids at all.
Yeah.
Nothing like them. Yeah, that's kind of like how that plays out, though, isn't it? And after that,
he gets the shit beaten out of him by Basic David.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Basic David and his
cronies,
the weediest little mate.
There's always little weed baits, isn't there, involved in this?
Yeah, they hang around with the Basic Davids of the world to give themselves secondhand power. And then they become police officers for their job later on.
You're kidding yourself, Brody. What you should have done was hurt the weedy mate as badly as you can straight away. Escalate it to 12. Karate chop in the throat.
Yeah.
So he gets beaten up and goes home all sad, as you would if you'd just been beaten up.
And he's missed. While he's been busy being beaten up, Medina has brought a note and left it with Zach. One of my favorites. I laughed out loud at this moment as well, where he's like, he's stealing, he's like siphoning petrol out of a car. He's like, he's stealing petrol. He goes, no, I'm stealing diesel. And he has like a little tin that says diesel only. And it's just, don't you feel, and then it layers upon layers of comedy. And it's like, well, don't you feel bad? He's like, no. And then it pans out and we see that he's siphoning diesel out of an ambulance.
Yeah.
A St. John's ambulance too, so it's voluntary.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's even worse.
Yeah. He's a bad bloke. And she says, here's a note for you. Don't read it. It's for Brody. And he reads it immediately. It says, meet me in the park at 9. Kiss, kiss. Do you like me? Circle, yes, no.
Oh my God, did it have that?
No.
Oh.
I wish.
Have you ever given one of those notes?
Oh, if I have, I've blocked that from my memory because I can't imagine it went
well.
So I'm not married to a person.
It must have been a no then if you blocked it.
Yeah. Either didn't happen and everything's fine. I know almost certainly it wasn't a thing. I would have been too embarrassed and shy to even do that as a teenager at school.
So yeah, and this is where Zach's like controlling friendship thing comes into it as well, because he basically lies to Medina and says he's not even interested in you. He said, what did he say? Like, leave me alone or something like that. To which Zach sees Medina get all upset, says something about her freezing her tits off, puts his jacket on her, and that is when they have a kiss.
They're macking on.
What's just out of order, isn't it? It's just like, no, Zach.
Don't betray the Brotherhood of Steel. It's a real turn. It's a heartbreaking moment.
After this, Brody's delving deeper into the meaning of the Black Hymn. He discovers its connection to dark forces and the possession, and this is when like town's residents start to get possessed, isn't it? Or do they have to play it in full first?
No, he decodes it and figures out what the Latin means, and then he's like, "Oh, let's play it again," because he knows, and then everyone else plays along with him, not knowing that he is knowingly,
because he's angry at the town,
because he's cross with the world, and he just wants to get a bit of power.
Yeah, he's had a black eye. He's had
his earring ripped out.
Oh, that's rough. He gets his earring ripped out. Medina's all of a sudden not talking to him. He doesn't understand why.
It's all going wrong.
And Basic David went into his room, ripped up all of his metal posters, and ripped up his picture of Brody and his mum.
Oh yeah,
so all that stuff got trashed.
That is
unnecessary.
I certainly hope Basic David gets his comeuppance at some point.
Yeah, me too.
Hope he gets taught a right lesson.
So Brody, instead of burning a church down, he's taking it one step further, which is to release this demon who possesses the town's residents, and they start vomiting blood.
Not just vomiting, Ben. All over. You got blood coming out of everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, the teacher.
Yeah, sometimes they shit blood, yeah.
People start laughing at that.
Yeah, they're like, are you okay, sir? I'm like, he's just shat blood.
Even if
he's not fine.
I reckon the answer is self-explanatory, yeah.
You're right.
I'd just be so upset. But I do love that he turns around, the girl in the front, beautiful blonde girl in a white turtleneck jumper. Yeah. You just know. You just know what's going to happen. Perfect.
Yeah, but people are possessed all over the place. The gutters are running red with blood as they finish playing their practice, but they seem to go to bed and then go to school the next day and everything's fine.
Well, they sort of pass out a bit as well, don't they? The band.
They have like a fit.
their eyes start rolling back in their heads. They all collapse and start fitting. And then when they wake up, they're obviously what the hell happened. And yeah, this demonic presence has been released in the town. Yeah. They go to that fortune teller girl's Abigail.
Oh yeah, from the record shop. Yeah,
from the record shop, and she kind of like reveals. She does a nice bit of exposition dumping for everybody else, doesn't she?
But she also acts as like an omen at the beginning, doesn't she? When there's the first meeting between Brody and Zach, she almost has like a premonition in that moment when she's doing the tarot cards, and it's like, oh, this fated meeting's about to happen, which will then lead. So she's like almost getting a sense, and it's like foreboding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, when they go to her, she kind of talks. She says, "The impending merging of Alof with the most evil human in town will happen at 3 a.m."
But is it? Do they respect daylight savings or not? Do they recognize?
Do demons recognize daylight savings?
Yeah. Very good.
Very good. So basically, everybody just teams up trying to take down various forms of demon at this point.
So Zach's dad is one of the first ones they fight because he's got a t-shirt wrapped around his head, and then when they take it off, they see he's got no eyes and big old pointy teeth. And
what does he say with the eyes in his hands as well?
Is I can see you, and then they have to buff him because he works in a garage, and they uses the buffer to like buff his face off.
Yeah. To which, like, obviously Zach is a bit upset, but he's like, well, I had to do what I had to do, didn't I? We had to kill him. Yeah, and then who else? Who else is
Giles? Giles never like. I love.
Oh yeah.
Is it Giles that has the Hulk hands on?
Yeah.
No, that's Dion wearing the Hulk hands, and Giles has a paintball gun.
Hulk hands would be good. I also feel like Hulk hands would be good in like a zombie apocalypse because you wouldn't get bitten through the hands, at least. Magazines,
but you're not as agile as you'd need to be.
I don't know. I like it. You remember in World War Z when Brad Pitt taped magazines to his arms to stop himself getting bitten?
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So Hulk hands and magazines taped to your arms.
Then again, magazines aren't what they used to be. They're not the same paper stock. A magazine of the 1990s, those big glossies.
You could kill a man with a magazine. You could kill a man with an Argos catalogue, couldn't you, back in those days?
Print media back then as well. The amount of adverts that are in your standard FHM. That was a thick tome. It was like an Encyclopedia Britannica versus then that even exists anymore, but the wafer thin magazines
if you had thick magazines lying about, you'd be good. If you had loads of take a breaks, you'd be screwed.
Yeah,
you'd be fucked.
Yeah, you need something with a glossy cover.
You
need a prestige format, otherwise you'd be done.
Yeah, so that the claws just slip right off of that gloss lamination.
Then they're not getting a purchase on you, really.
And you'd be can't. And you'd be just getting friction burns.
You'd be disguised as well if they hunted you by like human scent.
And they'd be like, "Oh, it's a magazine rack."
Just open some of the little free samples of perfume you've got. You throw them right off. No, that's not them. That's Brute Aquatonic in that direction. Follow the scent of humans.
Amazing.
Or you could throw the Sudoku pages at them, and they'd be like, "Oh fuck," like.
Yeah.
And then you get the zombies' attention later, and they're onto you, and they're after the aquatonic. You just open the dupe on your other arm, and it's like that scent's changed. That's like going through the car. It's like going through the car thing in GTA. You lose all your stars. Get a clean, fresh load of paint.
I just rubbed a magazine on myself in there. Hey. Yeah. Okay. So now it's just like a series of various battles with demonically possessed people, isn't it?
Medina comes out as an action hero. So when our other two heroes are really failing to fight a zombie, it's got a lot of Shaun of the Dead vibes, isn't it? They're like really sort of limply, like powerlessly, like fighting the zombie, and then Medina just does him and splits the guy's head in half. And I love her little. I wanted something really cool to say at that bit. She's brilliant. She's so good.
She is wicked, isn't she? And that is like, I think that scene is, what is that, just before the sex toy extravaganza that this film is so well known for.
Yeah, so those three decide to go to the school. They leave an excellent penmanship from
from Dion there.
Yeah. Is it all let's hope demons can't read? Meanwhile, before we get the sex toy bit, that's after. It's after that we get the strimmer. So we go to Brody's aunt and uncle's house. Aunt and uncle are possessed. They get trapped in the bedroom. Obviously, we know they're very religious. Oh, look, here's a box of church things.
It's just labeled church stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, church stuff. And in it, there's just like, it starts with like, because, I think these are rosary beads.
Oh, I had to give him a sniff as well, didn't he? You know, I feel like that always happens.
I like it when he pulls out that big double-ended dildo and he's like hangs it in front of Brody's face and he's like, "Hey, Brody," and he turns around with his mouth open and it just goes in and he's like, "Why did you do that?"
Classic dildo prank.
Because the first thing you would do is slap someone around the face with it. I'm sorry, it's the first thing you would do.
You say that, but it's got some serious weight to it.
You could hurt someone, yeah.
You could.
You could do the wet hand of Saruman.
The wet schlong of Saruman, it's involved.
The wet schlong of... Jesus Christ.
Or the hot schlong of Sauron. You microwave it for a little bit. I bet that retains heat quite well.
Oh my
God. Or
God.
it melts.
Yeah. The molten schlong of Saruman.
You're not getting a refund from Russell Hobbs if it's got a melted double-ended dildo in it.
I thought you were implying that Russell Hobbs made.
They do those delicious self-warming dildos that just warm you up from the inside.
Yeah.
And they come to the boil in under a minute.
Yeah.
The boil. Oh God.
Yeah.
Think of anything worse. So they beat the living shit out of some demons with sex toys. We get some good slow-mo shots.
And it's a fight of two halves that they get an upper hand, but then they get separated. And then they eventually, there's a chainsaw that comes into play, and basically...
What I like about that is that it's exploring the actual practicalities of fighting with a chainsaw, because he goes out there and he cannot get that fucking thing started. And I'm like, that is what would happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is what would happen.
And then and then Brody almost gets it in the face, but then they eventually, between Zach basically gobshagging the uncle to death with like a dildo that he just manages to reach. It's just the bit where they're trying to reach it and he's tapping the end with his finger and making it wobble around.
Don't you love that they use that thing like in a film when they'd be reaching out, it would be for the scissors or for the knife or for the gun. Oh, I can just see my salvation. It's just out of reach. But for Zach, it's just basically a dildo that's on the side. It's like, I can just reach that dildo.
Suction cups to the bedside table. And then Brody gets, I guess the aunt gets a vibrator in each ear.
Yeah, she gets a chainsaw to the guts and then all her guts fall out and then she's walking on them and like slipping over them. And then from behind, she gets two vibrators in her
scrambled.
Yeah, she's double penetrated by in the ear.
When Zach says to Medina as well, "Can you pull me off?"
Yeah.
And he meant
just the chainsaw.
Can you start my chainsaws?
You
please?
knew what you were doing, Zach. Come on.
You knew it.
So yeah, they do that, and then they hit right. We're gonna have to fight our way to the school. Let's go, because the pages blow out, so they're gonna have a little fetch quest and catch the pages that are blown out of the window. But they do get some better weapons, and we get to see. I mean, friend of the show, Alice should have been in this one. There's full frontal male nudity in this one because there's a man.
I really appreciate that because I feel like every single horror film really like enjoys killing its women. And it will be like the sexier, the better. Let's have her be naked, and then this will happen, and that will happen, and it just like, and the men just get like relatively average deaths, right?
Yeah.
This one, let's have a dick in the film.
Getting strimmed
he's wearing
off.
a t-shirt as well, but just no trousers or pants, which I
Donald Duck.
Very toddler-esque of him. But like,
he's Winnie the Pooh in it.
Did he have socks on?
It's Winnie the Pooh.
Did they have socks on? That would have been really weird.
Oh, it makes a man look weird like a chicken.
Yeah, and then he just got a weed whacker right to the...
Yeah.
Willy
Get
whack.
yourself trimmed.
Get yourself trimmed. Manscaped. He got.
Yeah.
And then they made a
think
joke about
Manscaped's-
whacking off.
Yeah,
I knew that you'd be good at whacking.
You're
I was
good at
like,
whacking off guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure actually, Ben. I mean, we're not sponsored by Manscaped, but based on this knowledge, we could be. I believe one of their bodily hair trimmers is called the Weed Whacker. I'm not sure if that's the nose
That's
and
true.
the
That's
nose
the
and ear
ball.
hair product.
Yeah, it might be that one. What's the ball trimmer one called? Something similar. Oh,
obviously this is why I'm not sponsored yet.
I did always think that the names of these things by Manscaped sound a bit painful. The Weed Whacker. I'm almost like,
you don't want anything down there being whacked unless it's consensual and in a safe environment with a safe word, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in that circumstance, you're doing it to yourself. So
it's
you
called like
the one taking
sack ripper, weed whacker,
sack ripper. Oh no, the Jewels of Death or something like that. It's got horrible names. I'm like, oh, can't it just be a bit more?
They're not going to
that is a
sponsor
fear.
you if you're slagging off their product names.
Yeah, see, I at least took the time to remember one. Then it really is called the Weed Whacker.
It is called the Weed Whacker. That's good.
Yeah.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Manscaped. We could help you rename your stuff. That's how we would help.
Oh, we'll give you horror variants, so we could have Emma's patented the ball ripper.
Yeah. And don't forget, I am a copywriter who does often do naming projects. So
there we go.
We've got the whole package.
The services are available, whether you need new bodily hair trimming products or piss-related pranks. Call this team.
We run the gamut. Do you know what I mean? And we can do a really killer cover of Mbop with me as Zach Hansen.
Hell yeah.
Oh, a beautiful future ahead of us, but there's not a beautiful future right now ahead for the people of this small town. Absolutely chockers with demons as we speak. So
everywhere.
they basically do a little montage of getting all of the pages back, right? There's one where Zach's trying to smoke one of them. Don't do that, Zach. Come on.
Don't smoke one of the bloody pages, mate.
It didn't even have anything in it.
Yeah, just paper. Just old
smoking
paper.
a rolled up piece of paper.
What are you, 8 years old?
So they
I'm like daddy.
Remember those little chocolate sticks called that you used to be able to get wrapped?
They're illegal now, aren't they?
Well, they literally just called like candy cigarettes.
Candy cigarettes,
yeah, they were just called that, weren't they?
Used to sit there like pretend I was like a noir detective, like, it's a hard life.
Because all the cool people smoke. Literally, everyone who's cool smokes. I'm sorry, but
pretending to smoke and doing that. Sometimes, like, open a drawer, you've got like a bottle of Coke in there, and you go, no, close the drawer. I swore I'd never drink again.
All the cool people vape. Everyone loves watching somebody
No one
smoke
cool
vapes. Bubble gum flavored air. Oh, it's lovely.
I just feel like
flavored.
I can't take people seriously when they're doing that, because it usually is like a burly man, isn't it? And he's got like bubblegum vape.
Bubblegum vape, yeah.
And then he reveals himself, his true nature.
That's true. Yeah, at least make horrible flavors of it, innit?
Yeah, like piss. Another piss related.
Well, what flavors you vape, mate? Oh, tax reform and piss.
Oh, lovely. Disgusting.
What's yours? Dog shit and stomach pain. Oh, okay.
dog shit and stomach
IBS
flavor.
Inconvenient IBS.
I thought you were going to do a new acronym for it then. Inconvenient
bowel
syndrome, which it is.
Yeah.
It is that.
I've heard.
Inconvenient for all involved.
It can be
I've heard.
Things. Yeah, that's it.
So I've heard.
Another line of great products
flavor.
for this team. Hard flavors for vapes.
For badasses. Engine oil.
Yeah.
Engine oil. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Engine oil.
That would do it.
Engine oil
leather.
And like surgery with no anesthetic.
Aged
leather.
Yeah,
like what people say red wine tastes like. Oh, it tastes like tobacco and aged leather. It's like, what? That sounds horrible.
Face tattoo flavor.
Face tattoo flavor.
Yeah.
Regret. That's the best one.
The delicious taste of regret.
What's your flavor?
I think regret would
Cinnamon
taste a bit
toppings.
like blueberry. to be honest, if I had to put a
I think
flavour to it.
regret tastes like tea after you've let it go cold. That's the pure taste of regret.
Oh yeah, ever so tannic.
I'd say that's more like melancholy, like
or you've let
sadness.
it brew for too long.
Oh no, yeah, too much tannin.
So they managed to acquire the sheet music. They head to Dagger's house, Ricky Daggers, to perform.
Because it's got amps, and they need amps to play the music.
They need amps to play
they
the
need
music.
to perform the music backwards. Is that what they're doing to kind of like undo everything?
They made a reference to you've got to Rob Halford here in relation to the Judas Priest backmasking scandal from the Satanic Panic days, where they thought that some teens had heard the record backwards, and they were convinced by secret messages to
what does that say?
unalive themselves.
Kill your mum? No, I won't. That's been around.
Does it say buy all of Judas Priest's records now?
Oh well,
That's the message I got.
Right now.
Imagine that. Like, obviously, a more compliant time. People heard things coming out of a speaker. They just really do it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, don't question any suspicious messages that you get through any media. Don't question it. Yeah. Just do it.
This is why they all know of this generation that Paul McCartney died, and they just happened to get another very talented musician to replace him.
The same thing happened with Avril Lavigne.
Oh yeah,
Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, she died, and the Avril Lavigne we have today is fake.
A replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one.
It's true. Avril. What else then? What happens now?
So, there is a little meeting during this montage between the cult that's following along. The man who didn't like his carpet ruined earlier, he gets stitched up by his assistant, doesn't he?
Yeah, she stabs him in the back, literally and figuratively,
and then in the throat.
Oh,
yeah,
very nice.
So he's out of the picture, and now she is hoping to basically become the vessel of the demon, because she thinks she's I mean, to be fair, absolute textbook move. If a guy considers himself to be the most evil and is proclaiming himself to be the most evil, if you stab him in the back, classic Highlander rules. That's you.
Exactly. There we go. So yeah, the cult, then they capture Deathgasm. Shanna tears apart all the sheets, trying to stop them play it, obviously. And that is when Zach sacrifices himself.
Oh, he's already had a little fallout first, though. When they first arrive at the school, it comes out that Zach had been copping off with Medina. They have a fallout, and he's, didn't even like you anyway. Bye.
See you later.
He's like, good luck surviving without me.
Yeah, they have a fallout. This is their darkest hour, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes off. They get captured
instantly. Captured.
But Zach does come back and help them escape. And I love this bit now. This is when they're getting ready for the final battle, where he comes back in. He's got a full face of makeup. He's got all of the weapons.
Yeah, he's got corpse paint and the 2 chainsaws. He has a real like Bruce Campbell moment, doesn't he? Yeah. You can really feel like the Evil Dead inspiration coming out as he's like leaping around with these 2 chainsaws, like killing these.
Oh, and he does his like spin around. He like jumps on a tire to get some air.
Fucking awesome! Are you kidding me? If I was like 5 years old, I'd be playing that game in the playground. I'd be like, good. Oh, I've got chainsaws, and you're all possessed.
Yeah,
everyone running me, and then
you'll be in shock. Possessed. But I love the bit
jumping off of walls and like
when Medina challenges. Oh, so you've come to save us, but before you did that, you put on a full face of makeup. How long did that take? 5-10 minutes.
It's a fair point.
So in they go for the final battle. They're doing it. They're mincing their way through the zombies. They're coming up on top. Unfortunately, everybody, there's no war without sacrifice, and we do lose a couple of soldiers here. So what happens to Giles
gets his arms pulled off, and then there's like
he gets beaten to death with his own arms.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Humiliating.
Theon's head gets ripped off, and his whole spinal column gets pulled out.
That's how you get Sub-Zero, doesn't he? Original recipe fatality.
Original recipe.
So we have Zach, we have Medina, we have Brody left. Just the leader, so Shanna of the cultists, all the others have been got, and she's kind of cowering in the corner. But then it's 3 a.m., not daylight savings. Demons have gone straight down the line on this one. And the spirit of the demon starts to come down. It does start going into Shanna. She thinks, right, better strip naked for this.
Yeah, because you want to be bare-breasted for when it happens,
Yeah, you want a demon soul coming. Well,
you
maybe
want the full
she just
experience.
She might be thinking, what if I'm not quite the naughtiest person here? What's going to tip it over the edge? Be nude in a school building, probably. That's
yeah, I figure that.
Yeah, that's like Bart Simpson spitting over the edge of the escalator, right? That's what's going to clinch it. And the demon starts getting into. We get some electricity, but then she does get a stab in. One of the swords comes out of her, and Zach, you saved the day. The day is saved. The host of the demon has been. Wait a minute.
Dispatched.
It's gone into him now.
Yeah, and then we see him go full demon. This is great, and then obviously the makeup effects of this.
This is really cool.
Yeah, this is like the demon from Dave Grohl as a demon in the tribute Tenacious D music video, but times 10 in terms of actually Tim Curry in Legend. I was thinking,
yes,
that's
very
probably
smaller horns,
comparison.
less of a Hollywood, but less luster on those horns, but it's very scary.
The same neck thickness, I would say.
Less sex appeal. I'm just going to say Tim Curry was an absolute snack in that film. Anyone who chooses Tom Cruise over Tim Curry is cheating themselves out of a good time. I mean, all you have to do is watch Fern Gully to know what you're in for with Tim Curry as, the slime.
Yeah. Good times.
All day long.
But yeah, he's like final boss vibes of Zach, isn't it? He's like teleporting all over the place.
He's
turning into blue lightning,
kicking them across the rooms. He's like knocking them out left, right, and center, like sending them flying across the thing. They've got no hope. And Brody starts to try and play the song backwards, but it's not working. He's been knocked out. He's been horned. He's been stabbed, and he's about to kill Medina with an axe when Brody takes a little bit of inspiration. He doesn't play the hymn backwards. What he plays is he does a little bit of shredding that reminds Zach of their friendship.
A little piece I like to call My Friend Zach.
Yeah, the Blood of Steel.
Yeah.
So he plays the music, and then the demon temporarily retreats from Zach's body. That's when Zach urges Brody to kill him to prevent the resurrection. How does he kill him?
With one of the razor blade
to
necklace.
The throat.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Pretty
Slices his throat. So Zach sacrifices himself to save his friend, save the town. And his redemption arc is complete.
And then we just move forward to 2 months later. I love it how it's written in like a really over-the-top metal poster font, and it does it in a subtitle underneath it. 2 months later.
Yeah, when your title card needs a subtitle.
And then the house of the aunt and uncle is up for sale. And we just got our heroes. So Brody and Medina just hanging out in bed, getting ready.
Copping off, mate.
Yeah, they are. They've been doing some smooching. They've been copping off. I mean, she has taken up smoking. I'm not gonna pay that out.
And she's gone full metal as well.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, because it really bothers me when like metal guys are like always after the like cheerleader type, because then like metal girls, like, where's all the metal boys at? Do you know what I mean? You don't want to get together with a normie, do you?
No.
So I'm glad that she converts.
Oh, default Dave.
Yeah,
you don't want to get together with a fucking default Dave.
You don't.
But when all the metalheads are going after the cheerleaders, what are you going to do?
I feel that this is a nice parallel, though, because this is almost the opposite of the end of The Breakfast Club, right? Where the cool alternative girl becomes basically, by the following Monday, has become like absolute default Dave. Yeah.
The same thing happens in
so sad.
The Faculty. Do you remember like that?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Stokely. Does she like
she goes. Not only does she not, goes from alternative to normie. She like goes from being a lesbian to straight.
She wasn't a lesbian though.
Oh, she was pretending, wasn't she? So
She
she didn't
pretended.
top off with Usher.
I think that they were just like, oh, you're a lesbian just because she had short hair and was alternative. And as a short-haired alternative, I can verify that that does happen.
Yeah, people just go.
I'm not
"You're a
mad
lesbian or
about it
something."
though. Let people guess.
But what I was saying, it felt like that was supposed to be like, oh, it's a happy ending. Someone whose alternative has become normal. Thank God. In like the faculty, for example.
When she got out, I thought, pop out and buy some pink cardigans. At least Medina's had a couple of months to. She still has blonde hair, but has like slightly darker blonde hair.
Yeah, she's got the like under
Okay.
the black stripes.
Yeah, it's taken up punching a few darts from time
She's
to time.
got a tattoo
of
herself on her own arm, which
and it's
like
healed up
go
nicely.
off.
Respect. A lot of
I guess
respect
if you've
for that.
I guess if you've gone through a situation like she has, you might fancy a cigarette, and you'd be well entitled to get a tattoo of yourself.
Like she's literally killed people and seen a demon.
I've just realised, taking out killing people in our excitement to get to weed whacking and talking about sex toy murders, we missed the ultimate fate of Basic David.
Oh yeah, of course. It's a great death.
So as we get to the end of the scene with the aunt and uncle, David, basically a completely normal, unpossessed man, comes in, goes, "What's happening here?" And then Brody immediately just chainsaws his head in half. And he goes, "Oh, he was definitely a demon. Actually, he said something about Satan. I didn't."
Yeah, Zach was like, he was fine, and he was like, "No, I heard him say something about Satan."
He walked in and went, "Oh, but I love Satan.
Oh, get him!
Have your head off."
Yeah, but I couldn't let us get to the end of the plot without touching the end of the road for Basic David.
We needed to close the loop on that story.
Yeah. Zach's spirit is also in one of Brody's records, Trapped Forever. And they have a little conversation.
Well, until the sequel. I mean, I haven't looked about what's happening, but
I can tell you.
Oh, is Zach back?
Yeah. Like Brody resurrects all of his bandmates for a Battle of the Bands competition in a bid to win back Medina, and it's a 10-year time jump, if what I've read is correct.
Oh shit. That's
but Jason Lei Howden said that he's going to take a Gremlins 2 approach to it, where it's a bit like
what's that? A gremlin? An electricity gremlin? A sexy gremlin?
A sexy girl gremlin.
A sexy girl gremlin.
One with glasses.
A googly eyes gremlin.
And the
Hulkster as well. Hulk Hogan.
The Hulk Hogan will turn up and tell everyone to get on with the film halfway through. So basically, Gremlins 2, it's the writing room of no-nos. There, if you've got an idea, it's going in.
Yeah. Any ideas?
You've seen the Key and Peele sketch, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're referencing that, because if you didn't know that, then
I'd be missing out, but I'm not.
There we go. Okay, so that is Deathgasm. We're going to play a little bit of the name game, Emma.
Yeah.
Basically, I did watch an episode again recently, Andy, of Richard Osman's House of Games, and they've definitely ripped us off. Essentially, what we're going to do is give you the synopsis of a movie, which sounds a little bit like Deathgasm, but isn't quite Deathgasm. Yeah. And based on our synopsis clue, you have to tell us what the name of the movie is.
Which will rhyme, in a very loose sense of the word, with the title Deathgasm.
How did you find a film that was similar?
Oh, it doesn't. The films are all made up.
Films are all made up, yeah.
Oh.
It's not real.
These are not real.
I was going to say, wow, that would be incredible that you've managed to do that.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Andy, have you got any?
Yes.
I'm glad. The synopsis is a band of teenage boys unwittingly summon an ancient evil entity by delving into black magic while trying to escape their mundane lives.
Oh, is that it?
That's the synopsis of the real film.
Synopsis.
But what about this
film.
one?
Oh.
A band featuring the lead singer of The Gossip and 2 deceased monarchs really struggle to get across a massive pit.
Beth Chasm.
Deathgasm, correct.
What
Really strong.
the fuck? You
That's
guys
right.
have just got your own humor here. You're
No, it's
starting
because-
from a place far
It's
above.
because I've been trying to work out my version of it as well. So I've obviously gone through this in my head already. So in a way, it's not fair.
Trying to have a lovely bit of fun with rhyme, like they taught us at school. So
Yeah, exactly.
instead of Deathgasm, this time, when Beth Ditto and two dead queens, both called Elizabeth, trying to get across a big pit, hence the film Deathgasm. Have you got any, Ben?
Yeah. So a band made up of Mr. Rogan, Mr. McFarlane, Mr. Green, and Mr. Rollins. That's 4 of them.
Yeah.
I
Can't
didn't really think.
now.
The second part was Chasm, but I'm gonna have to figure something else now. A band made up of all of those people.
Yeah.
What rhymes with that? It isn't Chasm.
Are you just doing this on the fly? You just didn't have a plan.
Kind of, but that's because Andy's thrown me into
You could do
disarray by doing Chasm.
You could do Deathgasm. It's fine.
No, okay, I've got it. So a band made up of all of those people, Mr. Rogan, Mr. Green, Mr. Rollins, and Mr. McFarlane, all play such great music that it gives them that they all have a fit, similar to how the Deathgasm band had a fit.
So in that case,
Is
that's
it just going to be Sethgasm?
Seth Spasm.
Seth Spasm is correct.
Okay.
This is difficult. It's usually better than this. I promise.
So, a band in Newcastle are really desperate to play a practice down at Biker Grove, but they can't find the keys for them until someone gives them some advice as to where they might find the keys. This really relies on you having watched Biker Grove and known who the caretaker was.
Oh no, I definitely don't. I don't.
This is so niche. Like,
I don't remember who the caretaker is.
So the bearded man who was the caretaker and adult in charge of Biker Grove, when he once was told that PJ or Duncan was unable to see, he might have the keys to Biker Grove, wasn't he? So if someone was to say, "Why, hey Duncan, where's the keys to Biker Grove?" and they'd say, "Jeff has them." Jeff has them.
no one was ever going to get that. No one was ever going to get that. Jeff has them.
Jeff has them.
That's good though. I like it. You thought outside the box where I was just trying to rhyme things with gasm. Oh, Jeff has them. That's probably the best one. That's my favorite one so far ever in the history of this. I don't know if I got any more. I'm just trying to think on the fly. A band is made, and the front man is the man who created Playboy. It's a little bit problematic, I think. Is he dead? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, he's dead.
Is he dead?
Got himself buried next to Marilyn Monroe, so what a creeper.
Oh, what? So even in the afterlife, he could be a creeper.
Yeah, could creep on someone. Yeah.
This is what he had every time he got a playmate into bed with him, and he even called it. Even called it this when he shouted it.
A Deathgasm.
A Deathgasm.
Oh,
hey!
Although that's his last name. It's Hugh.
Yeah, that's true.
He seems like the kind of man that would actually just call it a Hefgasm, though.
I bet he would.
I've had a Deathgasm. Bury me next to Marilyn Monroe, please.
Just give him Goldmember's voice.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't Dutch. That was just like a horrible, creepy. Like,
careful where you go, because that you might have Dutch listeners.
No, exactly.
So he wasn't being Goldmember.
It's like it wasn't a Dutch accent. It was a horrible, creepy man. It was like a horrible.
No, it was like a horrible, creepy Cockney guy. I don't know where you heard Dutch in that. Anyway, usually the name game is a highlight of the show. That was difficult, wasn't it?
No, but I've got 2 left.
Shut up!
No, I can't. I can't do any more. I mean,
wait. How about?
Don't do
How
it.
about I've ordered some food. Tastes a bit tastes a little bit salty. Can I just ask if the person behind there making the food has had in one of these? Don't know, holding up a soup. It's a bit salty. Extra protein. I'm disgusting. I'm sorry.
I mean, are you going gasm again? It's the blue alien jizz in his ears.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Soup.
But the person making my food has done it in there.
Deathgasm.
A chefgasm. Correct.
Chefgasm.
Is that what you said?
I said Jeff.
Jeff. If you want another Jeff related
The chef
one, Ben,
might be called Jeff.
I would have said an actor from Dumb and Dumber and the man who was friends with Zippy and Bungle in Rainbow. They launch a new business to travel to the bottom of the ocean. What do they call it?
Jeffrey. Jeff.
They open a think tank underwater, solving the world's problems, really trying to work them out.
I can only think of like a brainstorm.
That's right, Ben. Jeff Fathom. Fathom, working out those problems.
Fathom. Did you just go to the Rhyme Zone website and say what rhymes with death and what rhymes with gasm? And then you just took all of those words.
I pride myself on never accepting artificial help. I just sit here and close my eyes, go into my mind palace like Will Graham, and work out what rhymes I can find.
But the thing
is my design.
We've done so many films. Rhymes. We've done so many films with the word death in them that like I feel like I always go back to the same sort of places. But
right.
Yeah.
Right, Ben, this one's for double points. You could win this yet, whoever gets this one. The final one is
still going.
People are haunted by ghosts from the Scottish play.
Macbeth.
Macbeth. Phantasm.
Yes, Macbeth Phantasm. You've done it.
I think I should get that one.
Yeah, you gave it away. Sorry. Emma's got it.
I need just 1 point to redeem myself because I've just lost so badly at this game.
Have you got any, Emma?
I've not. I haven't.
It's too hard, isn't it?
You have to be quite ill to have come up with these horrible rhymes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think I would have. No. Not even Jeff Adam.
I got one.
Like,
oh, he's got one.
It takes a special, type of person to think of that.
Special talent.
This movie goes in a different. This movie goes in a different direction. Instead of focusing on Brody, we focus on Brody's mum and what happened with the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And based on the drugs she was taking,
she
had a meth
spasm.
I was just gonna say methgasm. That's what Santa had.
If you really enjoy having meth, I guess you would have one.
A methgasm.
Yeah, I guess it's ever so Moorish, or so I've heard. It's like them
I've
Pringles.
heard that. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go then. That was that done. Now we got to rate the film from A to F. Pluses or minuses are allowed. Rate good or rate bad. Emma, would you like to rate the movie Deathgasm first?
Obviously, I'm going to give it an A star. Liking this film is a huge part of my personality by this point. It's like the pumpkin spice latte, Hogwarts house of my personality. Liking this film is basically like, oh, I've got a good sense of humor and I like that. Do you know what I mean?
And I've got two t-shirts.
I've got 2 fucking t-shirts, mate.
2 t-shirts. I mean, to be fair,
all the way.
Never underrate liking a particular film as a personality because people are basing it on vape flavors all around the country today. So
yeah, it's my personality, the fact that I really like this film.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's totally fine.
A+.
I can accept that. A+. Is that what we're going for? A+. Wow. It doesn't happen very often on this show, but when it does, it's special. Andy, where are you falling?
For me, my first watch of this film, and I can own my lack of metal knowledge, being then perhaps not getting everything out of it that some people were. But as I said earlier, this is going to make it into my regular rotation. I had such a good time with this film. And looking at the director's body of work, probably need to catch up with Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo is wicked.
Yeah,
Samara Weaving's incredible in it. And so is Daniel Radcliffe. So good.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I've got
is that the same director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to hurry up and watch Guns Akimbo. I enjoyed it. It was just so it's so funny to say that like a film which is really overtly about the kayfabe of black metal, really talking into like, you know, the death and the Satanism and the violence, everything like that. But it's incredibly sweet and kind and has really nice message to it at the same time. So for that reason, I really loved it as well. I think my rating will probably only go up more when we talk about it more. But already on a first watching, we're a B+ from me. I love it. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go for as well, B+, because obviously the first time watching this film. But yeah, really enjoyed it. And especially some films have tried to sort of get this kind of thing going. Was there a film called Metal Lords, which was on Netflix? Maybe it was kind of cringe. I only saw a little bit of it. And it feels like, yeah, this has got like a good heart and soul to it. Like the jokes land, the effects are great, and it's a good time. So yeah, B+.
What a time.
What a time to be alive. There we go. That is Deathgasm. What a fun episode. Emma, where can our listeners keep up to speed with you and all of your output across social media platforms and
all of your original output?
Yeah.
My original 100% me output. I mean, I'd like to give my Twitter, but I just don't feel like anyone's on Twitter anymore. I just feel like it's a barren wasteland with burning cars and just bloated, rotting corpses dotted around, of which I am one. And you can find me at EJ Cownley and also EJ Cownley on TikTok. Make sure that you go to EJ Cownley TikTok because I've been alerted to the presence of interlopers using my likeness to try and befriend Ben. So
yeah, why me as
they
well?
They were after you, mate. They were after you.
Leave me out of it, for God's sake.
She wants you to be one of those 135 followers that person that, as you said, Emma, belong to you.
That I want all 135 of those people. They are my people, and I claim them.
I could have been having a chat with you all day, and then today we'd have got on this podcast. So
and I would have asked you for money as well. Like, oh, my sick uncle in, you know, wherever, I need money to, and then you would have been like, wait a minute, what?
Can you imagine if Ben had been in charge of sending you the message for the Zoom link instead of me? We'd have had another person in here. We'd have had the copy. Maybe that's how you trap them.
Yeah, the copier.
That's
where I mostly am.
We will
Twitter
put links
and TikTok.
We'll put links to that in the show notes, of course, so you can follow Emma. So thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to our current patrons. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. Head over to the Facebook group Horror Hangout Board of Advisors for more. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Discord. We're all over the place, all right? Come find us. Next week, we are talking about The Collector with Joey Oliveira, the comic book writer. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I believe so. I just go in by his first name usually. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. I've never full named Joey. God. Yeah. But there we go. But thank you so much for joining us, Emma. It's been good. It's been good fun.
Yeah, thanks for bringing the charisma along.
The pleasure was mine, lads.
Yeah, you can let your husband back into the house now.
So, Super Soakers of Piss at Fright Fest next year,
yeah. Fright Fest, Super Soakers of Piss.
It's a date.
See you there.
Super Soakers
anyone
of
who's
Piss.
our enemies.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't been on the show before next August and befriended us is in the firing line.
That's it. Exactly. See you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.